Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. So tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama to call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
The wrong one, honey child.
Honey child. Happy Friday.
I was like, I had the other headset in for the phone, thinking it was for the board. Oh my gosh. Wagwan. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Another day in paradise.
I'm a little tired this morning. I'm sure you are too. Your audience, you stayed up late last night, waiting for the new Taylor Swift album to drop right at midnight. I like to sleep out of my eyes.
My goodness, I'm sure that was not the reason I was losing sleep.
She dropped a new album
already,
right at midnight. I mean, all those parents, I apologize on behalf of Taylor Swift. Because Taylor's audience, are kids, right? So, they had to stay up late till midnight for it to drop. Then, not only did she drop an album at midnight with 31 songs at 2 a.m.,
oh, Lord,
she dropped 15 more songs.
What?
Yeah.
She's got all that time to be writing? Jeez.
And she's on tour, on the Eras tour.
She's got a lot of energy.
Man.
She's prolific.
And she's got a boyfriend. Going to all the NFL games with Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs and writing music, recording it.
Wow. She must be in a sweet spot now where she's got a lot to write about.
Yeah, pretty cool though. Good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah. So anyway, that's her.
Can't knock her hustle. I like that she's a very talented young lady.
That's our feel-good story of the day on this Friday.
Yeah, Taylor Swift making music.
It's nice to have I don't have anything with the family planned this weekend. How about you guys?
We're going to just go with the flow. I think it's going to definitely be one of those weekends.
Yeah, last weekend was Taste of Cayman, Black Eyed Peas. Next weekend is the Capella Music Festival. So you're going to get a big day of music over at the Festival Green once again. But this weekend, you can chill out a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, we got some tickets to give away for Capella. So
nice.
Hopefully your audience is paying attention. Yep.
Yeah. They'll actually be on our program coming up this morning, and we'll be interviewing the local artist that won her chance to be on stage. So she's actually out in the our little green room right now. And we'll talk to her coming up. So let's get some news on this Friday morning. Stand by.
Right. Sounds good. Good morning.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Hey, Sandy, happy Friday. What do you got for us?
Good morning. Happy Friday. So lots of interesting news this morning. Cayman Airways pilot Amber Hides is demanding her salary. She has basically said that Cayman Airways owes her some money for several months worth of work, and she wants to be paid. So she took to social media and called them out for that. And we're going to be talking a bit more about what's going on over there this morning.
Why is she not being paid? What's the reason?
Well, basically, she stopped working for mental health reasons.
Okay.
And she said that they have not treated her right in terms of those concerns, harassment and targeting and so on. So we're going to do a deep dive.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Mm-hmm. Former Housing Trust Chairman Jeffrey Ebanks has been acquitted. He was on trial for allegedly taking some marl off of the Marl Road. 60 truckloads of soil from a government housing project site to his property without approval from the housing agency. During the trial, he said that he was actually going to be transporting the material to Beacon Farms for 3 days, and the processing area became full. And so he decided to have the material transported to his property instead to prevent the project from stalling. Well, I guess the jury believed his story because he's now a free man with a clean record.
Okay.
So he said, yep, he made a mistake, but he didn't do anything intentional. All righty.
Does he have to give the dirt back? How does that work?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it is technically government property, but I'm not really sure how that works. Lavelle Marriott, remember her?
No.
She is the lady who likes to twerk when she's protesting.
Oh, yes.
Twerking protester.
Yeah.
Well, she's suing the police commissioner again, the second time in months. She filed a lawsuit now saying that the commissioner owes her $20,000 for damage, loss of valuable items, and refusal to access to her vehicle. So according to her, she's been unable to access her car since the 7th of December because of police negligence. She said the police caused neighbors to harass her with violence, causing misery and disruption of the peace, and that she lost access to her vehicle after her neighbor blocked it with a truck, and that the police have refused or failed to remove the truck. So she's called 911 10 times. And so she recently sued him for something else. I can't even remember. Seems like she's figured out how to sue people.
Okay.
So that is trending and making news this Friday morning. She also took to social media yesterday. This is kind of an interesting aside, to call out the leader of the opposition, saying that he owes her $810 for some horse tonic that he purchased from her.
Horse tonic. What is that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's like a, made up version of like the poor man's Viagra. You know what I mean?
I thought it was like maybe something you mix with vodka and horse tonic.
I don't know. But she said he got 8 bottles or 10 bottles of it, and she wants her money, $810.
Gin and horse tonic.
What a hot mess.
Yeah.
And just in case your listeners might not have heard, I know my listeners heard, CMR has been crowned. I need to get myself a little crown. Cayman's #1 news source.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is according to the annual Tower Consumer Report. They reported all sorts of things about media, and they said that when they questioned people about the top 3 places that they get their news from, CMR came in first.
What's the sample rate on that?
What's the what? Sorry?
What's the sample rate on that? How many people?
It goes into quite a bit of detail in the report, and I would suggest that people who want to know those details actually get the report. But it's over 500 people.
Okay.
And the first time I saw the report, I questioned the sample size. I said, hey, this doesn't sound like a whole lot of people. And the most interesting thing that I found out is even if you doubled or tripled the sample size, there's only a 1 to 2% margin of error. So if you're within 1 to 2%, you could go, oh, well, maybe, this station or that person kind of edged out the other one a little bit. But when it's a leading double-digit percentage, they might be onto something.
Well, congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We kind of knew that already, though, didn't we?
Yeah, a lot of people said that.
I mean, are you giving us a rhetorical story?
Well, now it's official. But I must tell you, here's the thing, Blake, that you may not know.
I think it's
a lot of people
by the amount of people that follow you and likes and whatnot.
Yeah, and but the problem though is there is a certain portion of the quote unquote establishment that really relies on this report. Like people pay for the report and they pay to include questions and all sorts of stuff. So apparently we have ruffled some feathers because almost immediately by last night, there was this big thing trending about cancel CMR, like this whole cancer culture thing. So we're on it and we're going to deal with them in typical CMR fashion.
Find it interesting. I mean, in my mind, you're voted number 1 in this survey. Single-handedly, you're a one-person operation compared to.
I got some support behind the scenes, but
compared to the other news companies,
multi-million-dollar organization. Yeah,
isn't that wild?
It is.
This is why you're on our show, Sandy.
Yeah, and it has been a wild show. A wild journey over the past 8 years, without a doubt. And of course, I want to thank the public because they're the ones who make us number 1. But yeah, it's pretty. There are times I sit and I think about it, and I almost have to pinch myself.
Yeah. Well,
now, if I could start making some Compass money, that would be good.
You want to make Compass money? I don't know.
Well, they're still in that legacy sweet spot where everybody's like throw money at them, whether people see the ad or not.
Yeah.
So, just a little piece of the pie, a little slither.
All right. Well, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thanks, Blake. All right. Safe weekend. Yes, honey child. Give Auntie some of that pie, honey child. I love me some pie. We'll take it. Sweet potato pie, every kind of pie that you can think of. Woo, honey child. Give me 1 second. Today's show is going to be hot. Instagram folks, go tell your friends. Go tell your friends. Sandy got turned up today a little bit. Well, what can I say? It's Friday. This time last week, Friday, we were going hard already, I do believe. And I suppose this week is going to be no different. It's going to be a different kind of hard in a different kind of way. But we are here to tell the truth every single day. On our business. I don't really care. I think some of y'all really believe that Sandy gives a darn. And I must tell you, I give a darn about the people of the Cayman Islands. And beyond that, I'm not really playing any games with people. And people be trying me. They be trifling around the place. And I'm telling you, I ain't the one. Not today, not tomorrow. My Aunt Lottie was like, girl, you stand your ground. Sometimes I had to stand my ground against her too. Because she wasn't always ready for the cold hard truth. And it is what it is. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Because I know some of y'all are like, what the heck is Sandy talking about? I don't know what's going on. First of all, we're going to be giving out some tickets this morning to Capella, so make sure that you pay attention. Their concert's coming up next week. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go online, order your tickets, honey child. You will want to do so. Yep. Okay, one little fella sending me a little invoice this morning for his work. Pay your workers, folks. You use the little small guy and, pay your workers. I believe in supporting locals wherever we can. And so, you got to pay your workers. Okay. And pay them on time too. Cause as a small business owner, it's hard when people don't pay you on time because you got bills to pay. Yep. Anywho, let's get it. Oops. Early morning call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning, honey child. Happy Friday.
Yes. Could you please write me down for one of the little radio, please? Thank you.
Can I do what? Sorry.
Write me down for one of those little fan radio, please.
Okay. Just send me a WhatsApp message. I delivered some yesterday, and then I got some requests.
I don't have WhatsApp.
Oh, you don't have WhatsApp? Oh,
No.
you one of the few people in Cayman that must not have WhatsApp. Okay, hold on one second. Let me just take down your number then. What's your first name, honey?
Sherry.
Sherry. All right, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so later on this afternoon, it'll probably be like later on in the afternoon after 2. Stop by the
That's
DMS
okay.
station. They're on Shedden Road. They're next to the car wash. And I'll leave you a radio. No problem.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a
love.
good day.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
All right. Good. Awesome. Yeah, we've got a few more radios, honey child. I mean, they're sitting there collecting dust. I mean, if you need one, do let me know. I will most certainly ensure that you get one. Now, hold on. Let me send my links out to everybody before I start the show in earnest today. We'll talk about Laval a little bit. I don't even like talking about this one, to be honest, because I really do believe that she's got some kind of clickety-click in terms of mental health. And so I wish that she would just get the help that she so clearly needs. That's not Shedden Road. What road is that? That's North Sound Road. Oh, my bad. I always confuse them. Shedden Road is which one? Oh, Shedden Road is the one that runs like the whole length of the island practically. Sorry. Yeah, that's North Sound Road. But right next to the BMW dealership and the car wash, right in that vicinity. I think most people know where the DMS offices are. So yes, I left the people who requested yesterday. I left those there. I know one person requested for both her and her mom to get one. So I've left those yesterday. So just go on by and pick them up. They'll have your name and number on them. Yeah. Okay. So, I shouldn't be surprised by the response that we got yesterday that CMR now is in the number 1 spot. I mean, like Blake said this morning, for those of us who are paying attention, that wasn't really news. Well, it wasn't news to me. I mean, I see the independent numbers. Like, there will be people who will try to be dismissive of the tower marketing report, which I think is actually very, very rude. And there's a guy on Facebook. He doesn't even live in Cayman anymore, but he used to live here, who was like, "Oh, tower marketing is a joke, and you're paying for this report," like some kind of foolishness. And oh Lord, is that Godfrey Nixon Way? That's not even North Sound. Oh geez, I'm peace. Woo. Clearly, this is a Caymanian that don't know no street names. Don't know the map. Don't ask me for directions. I can send you down the wrong road. Somebody said that is Godfrey Nixon Way, girl. What are you talking about? That's Godfrey Nixon Way. Where's Sound Road then? Old Sound Road is where the heck is Sound Road? Anyway, Godfrey Nixon Way. You see, I know like the landmarks, like, okay, the car wash, Mercedes or BMW, and then DMS, and then the gas station right off of Eastern Avenue. So if you can find the gas station in Eastern Avenue, you turn right there, boom, there's DMS. Ooh, honey chat, I need to learn street names. Anyway, thank you for the correction. I appreciate it. So, this guy, Kurt, was trying to discredit tower marketing. I thought, wow, listen, y'all cannot like CMR and you can get all up in your feelings about it. No, they're not no good and Sandy this and that, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I don't really care too much. I'm going to be honest. Those are not the things that make me lose any kind of sleep at night. What makes me lose sleep is the people that you thought were your friends really aren't. That's what gets underneath my skin. And that doesn't really happen that often because I don't really keep no pilot company. Like I said a long time ago, my friendship card was closed off already. But anywho, and people are entitled to their opinion. I don't have to agree with it and I don't have to like it. And it's not going to change the rotation of the earth, the moon, the stars, nothing. Life will go on. So, I tell you what surprised me. In a way, I suppose I was surprised. I was surprised that we caught up with them because listen, this is a typical David and Goliath type of situation. To be very, very clear, I have no beef with the Compass, right? They're an organization that have been around a really long time. And they do them. I don't always agree with like decisions that management, and they've had totally like different managers all over the place and owners and whatever. I haven't always agreed with the things that they've done and they've said and, the whole 9 yards. But my position has also been that just like everything else in life, diversification is important. You wouldn't want an environment where you only have one media house. I don't care who that could be, right? You would never want that. Just like I think diversification in even our population is important. Everybody has a different role to play in media. So for example, Wendy Ledger is more on the environmental side, anti-development. You guys know her score. And I think that that's important. She fills a gap that, she's able to go to the planning meetings, dig deep into those things. We don't even have the manpower sometimes to look at any of those projects. And you have different media that serve different purposes. The only issue that I've had with the Compass in the past is they have always had a sense of entitlement about them. And so that has been very, very interesting because nobody is entitled. By the way, excuse me manners. Good morning to all my Caymanian, all my Jamaicans, and everybody else. Filipinos, love y'all. I cook food. I forgot to say good morning to everybody. Okay. Y'all tell when Sandy get hot and heated because she just jumps right in to the deep end. So the Compass has been around, they have a sense of entitlement, I guess, because they've been around so long. Nobody likes a disruptor. And I think that when you know anything about, and listen, I'm not here telling y'all that I'm a marketing expert, but I do have my degree in social media marketing. Y'all must get your education. And I do study things, and I got my guerrilla marketing material. And so I know a little something about a little something. And so I didn't start out intentionally trying to be a disruptor in the world of media, but I guess lo and behold, honey child, maybe that's just a Leo personality in me. I don't know. I've always sung to my own, danced to my own little beat in a quirky kind of way and done my own thing from day one. I've never been one that anybody could really control. So I'll admit that I'm a little bit of a hot mess, and that's okay. I'm not a cookie cutter person. And I never have been. I'm sure I think differently than the average person. I see things differently. And I don't see anything wrong with that, to be quite frank. I think, again, when we talk about diversification, that those types of things are really important. It's important to be who you are and nobody else. I can't be anybody else. Who else am I going to be? You understand? So do you in the most fantastical way. Give me a second to adjust this AC because I swear this AC don't like to be adjusted from the phone anymore. This is a new new supposed smart system. And I'm wondering how smart it is. All right, give me one quick second because already I'm feeling a bit warm. Mm-hmm. All right, we're back, honey child. We are back. So I know that a lot of people have seen us as a disruptor. That's the actual term that's used in the world of like business and marketing and whatever. And what that essentially means is the paths that have been laid before us, we're not really taking that path. That's the paved road. That's why we call ourselves the mall road, because we're happy to get a little dusty and a little dirty and go in a totally different direction than what media has been doing in this island. The vision, the original vision for CMR was this concept of, and I it's funny enough because I actually didn't come up with the name Mall Road. I asked people for suggestions and someone said, why don't you name it this? And I thought, yeah, that's a perfect name. Big shout out to the doc. He knows who he is. And I said, yeah, this is actually a really good name because it fits what the vision is and what I want to do, which is put everything out there and let you, the people, decide what you're going to consume, if you're going to consume any of it at all. You always have a choice. That's the beautiful thing about living in a semi-democracy. Yeah. And so, it is what it is. I suppose on the one hand, we came out with all guns blazing, and there's a lot of people who didn't necessarily like that. They expected a certain whitewash approach that we're just not about. I'm not whitewashing it. I'm not brownwashing it. We're not washing it none at all. We're gonna give it to you dirty, and then you do whatever you want with it. So I know that there have been different people in the Compass organization. We've talked about this. They've sent us email threatening, oh, well, if you use our picture, or you use our video link, we're going to sue you. And then I'm like, is it really all that deep? Like, really? Wow. Damn, y'all feeling salty. And your feelings bad, honey child. It's not really, whoa. Back it up. People to me only do that when they feel threatened. Yeah. Last 3 years ago now, that was our first election cycle. Going into the election, I said, okay, this is it. Right? Elections matter because these are the decisions that we make about people who are going to run this country and impact all of our lives. CMR is going to be there in the gutter. We're going to be down in it, knowing everything. We're going to give you all their supposed manifesto. Yes, we'll live stream some meetings. That's the stuff that they can pay for. But the stuff they can't pay for is the truth. And we're going to let y'all know that too. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to be in the trenches with this election. I think what ended up happening, and it was so funny because Johan, you'll remember this, before the election, there were a number of people who were going around whispering in these little circles. And I think Caymanians need to recognize that there are people who believe that they run this country. And they make up a conglomerate of different people. Lots of times they're big business, they're developers, they're realtors, they're, all walks of life. And they believe that they are the kingmakers politically. That they put people together, they put parties together, and they put ruling parties together, and they take people apart, and they disseminate people and desecrate people in the whole 9 yards. They are the powerful people, and that is what they believe. Now, I'm not saying that they are or that they're not. I'm just telling y'all the cold hard truth and how this works. Yeah. So a lot of people have political skin in this game that you, the people, actually have no clue about. You just don't know. And you know the old saying that, well, what you know don't hurt you. Well, that's a bit of a misnomer. What you don't know can be very, very damaging to you. That's why I always encourage people, honey child, learn as much as you can about your country, your environment, your surroundings. Be in the know, because it is important that you're in the know. So there are people who walk around every single day with this shield of protection, they believe, and they'll make comments like, just do what I say. I can break the law essentially because I know people, because I sit on boards, because I'm somebody. Don't you know who I am? When somebody says that to you, it's one of the things that I find really, really disgusting for anyone to say is, don't you know who I am? Because my question's always going to be like, who the are you? Who you is? I'm supposed to know you who you is. You not it reeks of imperialism, and that somehow we have this hierarchy of people who are better than and who get access to a different type of justice, a different type of life, a different type of everything. And the truth is, that is actually a reality. They do up to a certain point. So it's funny because CMR has been in so many respects an equalizer of all things. So you see, we talk about the little drug guy on the streets burglaring your business because he got to get the next hit. Yeah, he makes the news. But we also talk about the ministers of government and their behavior. We talk about big businesses and those people. When they get arrested, we report on them the same way. Some of them have a sense of entitlement. Oh, you need to take this article down. You need to do this. You need to do that. And we're like, why? I once said to someone, let me understand your logic, right? You want me to take this article down about you because of who you are, you somebody, who you are. And mind you now, you're a person of financial means, of position, whatever. You already got a leg up on 95% of the people in this community. You don't feel like you should be exposed and reported on. We must take you down. And then the average little guy in the street who could probably do with a second chance, here we are reporting on him, and you don't see the injustice of us not applying the same rules to everybody? Like if I give you this special treatment and don't with him, he's actually worse off than you could ever be. How does that make any sense? You see, there are people in this world who don't care about those types of things. What I don't care about, quite frankly, is who you are. When you say, don't you know who I am? I'm like, no, I don't know who you are. Nor does it matter to me who you are. Who do you think you are? That ain't got nothing to do with the price of rice in China. So, the funny thing about the Compass is a lot of the workers I have no beef with. We all are in the trenches together. Sometimes they go to court and I don't. They'll message, this happened, that happened. We reciprocate. When we're all sitting there, when media's sitting there in court together, we have a camaraderie between each other. Me, Wendy, the Compass people, it's nothing deep. It's just like, we get it. We have a job to do, and it is what it is. Management, on the other hand, and when I say management now, be very clear, they're under new ownership, and I don't really know anything about that structure. As far as I know, the DART organization doesn't involve themselves with the day-to-day operations of that element of the business. So whoever is left on the editorial board and stuff, because they've lost a lot of people over the Compass, I do know that sometimes they want to create this kind of tension. And, they themselves go out there saying to people, I am this, or as an organization, they're the top. And I know this because I have had customers. Well, even government people. Well, the Compass came to us and they said all of this about their numbers, and they get the most traction and this and this and that. I said, really? I said, if that's the case, did you ask them to show you? Because it's easy to talk technical marketing jargon when the person you're talking to doesn't even have a clue. I can say all kind of thing about engagement and our analytical numbers and this and that, and I can't even think of all the terms now, but they just throw all these terms out there to people with social media marketing and all this kind of stuff. And y'all don't have no clue what they're talking about. You have no clue. But it sounds good. Or click-through rate. And you're like, oh, wow. And then when I say to people, did they show you anything in evidence, like in real time? Like when I go to a marketing meeting, I have pulled up stats in real time. Like, boom, look at what this is doing right now. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And my people are like, wow, we've never been to a meeting where people are so transparent. Why do I have to hide? Because if I'm being truthful, I don't have anything to hide. So a lot of it comes down to business, which means it's all about money. Okay? The Compass needs to keep their 99% share of the media pie because that's how they pay their bills. And I think anybody with a little bit of sense can see how incredibly top heavy that organization has always been. But they have made millions of dollars off of just government contracts alone. Government advertises every single thing with the Compass. Display ads, job advertisements. Although nobody's even picking up the newspaper anymore, they're still getting all of that money. And who can blame them? If you have a 50-year legacy that you can piggyback off of, even though you're no longer getting the results, right? You can piggyback off of that and say, hey, we're still the top dog in town. Nobody's even questioning you and asking you to prove it. But what happened when CMR came onto the playfield is that things started to shift a little bit. And it started to become pretty obvious that maybe the Compass isn't getting the traction that they used to. You can go for yourself and look on social media. They have something live streaming. We have something live streaming, the exact same event, but we have more people watching it live. A week after, we have more people watching it. These are numbers that you can't lie about. So I find it really, really interesting when people say things like, well, we're going to question the Tower Marketing Report. We don't know how, let's talk about the sample size and this and that. And I think it's wrong. Tower Marketing is a well-respected organization. They work with a lot of companies here in Cayman. And to not even know the amount of work that they put into that. And this is why I've invited the owner, Lynn Biles, to come in and talk about how they go about even doing this report, how long they've been doing it, how the numbers work, how the sample size work. Like I was saying yesterday, data-driven decisions. Let's talk about how you get this information. Because I think it's to her benefit, quite frankly, to do so. Because there's a lot of people who are happy to put out misinformation in the public domain. But listen, let me be very, very frank. When I say to you, and this is, I tell you the information is there. Go on social media, right? Facebook is amazing for the amount of information that they give you that can't be disputed by nobody, right? You go on here and you see yesterday's show. Less than 24 hours later, we have 9.1 million views. You gonna say Facebook is getting it wrong, right? The day before, 7.2 thousand. The day before that, 3 days ago, 7.4 thousand. The day before that, 4.5 thousand. The day before that, over 19,000. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Sandy. Barry here. How you doing?
Hey, Barry. Not bad. How you doing?
Yeah. Look here, I just want to congratulate you on your is it an award or your accolades that you've just achieved?
Thank you very much. No reward as
Um,
such, but
yeah, I was lost there for a second for the
yeah,
word.
that's okay.
Um, I tell you what, today little outlets like yourself are doing extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, the mainstream media, the big dogs, a lot of them are losing like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think CNN just closed down their Atlanta office, and they're
Mm.
getting ready to do another big layoff again.
Wow.
All the mainstream media, Fox, all them, they're all garbage.
Mm-hmm.
They even the BBC is becoming garbage, crap now too. But
Mm-mm.
you know, when they all used to do news, when they all used to be in the news media, remember the Walter Cronkite days? They did news. They didn't. I mean, it wasn't propagandist. They didn't push parties. They didn't. They did the news. And today's the mainstream media is garbage. So it's no surprise that you've done what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
The accolades you're getting, because I personally know. Uh, I follow certain things in the States that
Mm-hmm.
guys operating out of their little office in the garage or something right now, and
Mm-hmm.
getting more
Mm-hmm.
views at doing prime time in some of these big companies. So
Yes.
I'm glad to see the tables are turning. It's a lot of people, obviously a lot of people would criticize your show.
Mm.
But
And I wouldn't say a lot of people. I would say that
well,
these
well,
naysayers
well,
are actually a very small portion of the population.
well, I think you have more than I think you have more appreciated than because many times we wouldn't know a damn thing that's not going on in this country if it wasn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're going to ruffle feathers, and of course you're going to think. But it's good to see that this because in today's world, let me tell you something. You see this little thing that we carry in our hand called the phone now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Years ago, we had to wait till the news truck to pull up, extend their antennas, and then give their version of it later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily saying that happened in Cayman, but in the big countries that happens because they're pushing their foolishness,
Yeah.
globally. And but thank God today we can, if there's an incident going on, you can pull your camera out and
Mm-hmm.
get it
Mm-hmm.
live and pass it to 10 friends, and
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
not edited. So
Exactly.
congrats again.
Thank you. I
Congrats
appreciate it.
again.
Thanks, Barry. I appreciate it.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, like I said, these things and technology has really been, the game changer, and it's been very, very serious. So yeah, when I tell people, I say, listen, just go and look at there's certain aspect, I guess, of what's here that you guys don't necessarily see. So this is like the insights page, where we get to see all the extra details, how many 5.2 million people in the past 28 days or posts have reached, over 700,000 people engaged. And obviously some of those people are not in Cayman, right? Engaged with our website. We gained 197 new page likes. We gained over 6,767 new followers. I mean, this is information that we look at for our own information, for our own trends, for our own data, so that we can make data-driven decisions. Good morning, Miss Darlene.
Yeah, good morning. First of all, congratulations, Sandy.
Thank you very
And
much.
I want to say this: how we cannot head. That's only human.
Mm-hmm.
I want to openly say, if it wasn't for Cayman Mar Road,
Mm-hmm.
I would be lost, living so far from home. I can
Mm-hmm.
tune in, or I get the instantly news. So I really want to say a big thank you, and for all the effort that you put in. I know you do a lot of work, so
Mm-hmm.
that's for sure. And I think I can speak for a lot of Caymanians that don't openly call the show, but I think they watches that lives over, overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And I I was thinking, I, I don't know, people think differently, but I was saying, I think government should be grateful that now they can reach certain level. I mean, they had no kind of bar to measure
Mm.
before of the way journalism and all that works, and news is taken and given. So I thought to myself, they would, rather than condemn you or want to shut you down, that they would use that
Mm.
as a tool, to say, well, okay, they obviously need to do some serious changes,
Mm-hmm.
some new, implementing new ways and modern ways of getting it. Because here you are, you just came on the scene compared to a lot of those big, news media,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like a beacon for us that
Mm-hmm.
needs the news and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to you and CMR or whatever the company else that you have, and just keep it up. Don't I know you're not afraid, but sometimes people do things that hurt you in more than one way. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the majority of Caymanians are behind you as far as get the news and know what's going on a daily basis. I know sometimes I'm like hearing my 6 hours different. I hear beep 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 beep, and I say, but Sandra don't even sleep because it be these odd hours. It be these odd hours of the morning. And I'm like, listen, because I got, you can set your tune. It's like, well, okay, that's Kim and Maru. So I hear
Yeah.
beep, beep, beep. And I said, look at this. What is she doing up this time of morning? And that is commitment. That is commitment.
Thank
So
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you
Okay,
so
good,
much. I
good.
really appreciate it. Good morning, caller. Hi, caller. Uh-oh.
Oh, hi. Good
Hey,
morning. Can you hear me
morning.
now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No. I'm going to congratulate you again. I'm going to tell you why I congratulate you again.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman who just called in, he talked about your detractors and people,
Mm-hmm.
and I can attest to the number of people who don't pay attention to Ma Road and that woman. Oh, she is a troublemaker and this and that and blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. And I don't listen to things. I get into wars, Sandra, with my
Mm-hmm.
family and my friends defending you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then same people,
Yes.
you hear them say, what Sandra saying now? What Marrow saying now? So love you or hate you, they can't deny you've had a great impact in this community. Keep up the good work, Sandra.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's an anomaly, and I mean you have to laugh because trust me, if you don't laugh, what are you gonna do? Cry? And these people definitely I don't waste no tears on them. They're not the ones that I'm gonna be crying about. But trust me, the amount of people that have said exactly what that caller has said, I just have to shake my head. So they've always been detractors from day one, and they will always be. I feel like if you're not doing something to move the needle, then you won't have any detractors. If you're part of look at this thing zooming in again. If you're part of the status quo, people are not gonna be saying nothing about you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are ya?
Hey, honey child, how you doing?
I am good. I am good. I had to call you before I clocked in.
Yes.
Because restrictions. But I
That's
wanted
right.
to well, on behalf of the young people,
Yes.
we would like to congratulate you on this monumental achievement. We are supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay any attention to the naysayers.
Mm-hmm.
The political won't say anything about that, but don't pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing what you're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
upward and onward is what we say.
Mm-hmm.
So take your accolades, take your Grammy, take your Tony, take your Oscar, and take the
Oh
Emmy.
my gosh.
Because we are here to clean house. Come 2025, we will see.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations and keep it up.
Thank you very much, very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yes. Good morning, caller. I think I missed that one. Sorry. I was trying to And then we still begging for a little toll-free number. This person called twice. I'll call you back, honey chill. Oh, they're calling again. Look at that. Good morning, caller.
Sandy.
Hello. I haven't heard that voice in a minute.
Congratulations. Big hug.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, the lady who called, I know she's on the radio often, and it's not only Caymanians who appreciate you.
Yes.
It's so many more and beyond this island who thank you and appreciate you.
Thank you.
And, you know, people just don't like the truth.
Yeah, I know it. It's crazy.
There are some people that don't like the truth because they don't know what with the truth. They hide behind the truth. And, you know, they say many times that the people who are real and authentic are the ones who have the least amount of people in their circle. It's the fake ones that have so many around them.
That's true.
And with your situation, personal situation as well, that's just part of it right there. I'm also an empath, Sandy, and my heart really went out to you. And, you know, my theory anymore is God has a better plan. I'm not a religious person, but I do believe I have faith. And I just feel that, you know, he was protecting you from something more evil. And that's the way you have to look at all these naysayers going against you and all these people, you know, providing false information and lying about you and so on and so forth. Just keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
Have a big group of supporters out here. We love you. And if it wasn't for you, God only knows what we'd do as far as proper news and honest news. So thank you very much. And you take care.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, appreciate it very, very much. So let me get to the meat and potatoes. So yesterday, you know, in the show, we talked about the fact that the evidence is showing now that in the world of the establishment, CMR is being recognized as the number one source of news, and not by a margin of error, right? Talk show was already in the number one spot for several years now, and we gained another 10 points. That even surprised me. I got to be honest. I'm like, how much more can you gain of a listenership? It ruffled some feathers immediately. And so I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to read to you what was sent out, because listen, if people want to criticize me and they want to say stuff about me, you guys know my philosophy is let's talk about it. Let's call them out. I don't have any issues. The first person that sent it to me, I was like, what on earth is this? They're like, have you seen this? I'm like, oh no. And then I got it 20 million times after, right? Somebody penned something and I did a recording last night. I'm going to play that here because, you know, save myself from repeating all of that. But I want you guys to listen to what they said, because unfortunately, people are trying to create a certain narrative about CMR that isn't true. And you guys, you're here every single day. You're listening. You know the truth. But they think that they have the power to change the people's viewpoint of this platform. And they don't even have the respect to put their name to it. If you have an opinion about me, by all means, share your opinion. But you think I'm going to take anybody's opinion seriously who don't have the testicular fortitude to actually say, this is my viewpoint, this is my opinion? Good morning, caller.
Yeah, morning, Sandy.
Morning.
You know,
Alejandro.
don't make them people discourage you. That's one thing I can say, because you hear me on the radio all the time too, calling it. So once you hear me, you know, you don't have to be discouraged. Really and truly, those people would say anything to just make you discouraged from doing what you want to do, what you have to do, what you need to do. You're the only person on this island right now, basically, that try to engage with everybody. Even if you don't like what they gotta say, you try to engage with them. Nothing's wrong with that. Even, you know, you might aggravate some people. They need to be aggravated. Even me sometimes need to be aggravated. You know, you get aggravated all the time. A lot of people get aggravated. They need that so that they can wake up. Some people, right? on this island are living very comfortably because they know they don't got nobody watching them. But you see, the minute that they got somebody watching them, knowing what they do is well wrong, gee, boy, Sunday they try to shoot you down like a pigeon in the field. Yeah, they try to do it. They try to do it. But you see, you gotta have that spirit warrior like them roosters that we got here in Cayman. You know, you gotta kick the backside, you know.
Trust
kick
me.
Kick the backside. You gotta make sure you sharpen them spurs.
And
you do like
those
Cubans
roosters,
do,
yeah, man, they bad.
Do like the Cubans doing like that.
I appreciate that very much. All right, so listen, you know, thank you as well. I think Damien said we were kind of blurry, so I've just done a refresh. Damien, let me know if that's helpful, if that refresh helps. Stephanie says, Sandra, you teach by example. I'm going to read a few comments, and then we're going to get into the letter and dissect the letter a little bit. Cameron says they think their head hard. They must have don't know the CMR crew. Debbie says you cannot argue with the facts unless you're jealous or stupid, point blank, period. Johan says, Auntie Sandy, take some of the establishment millions they will try to bribe you with and share with the CMR mafia, especially the key contributors. Okay, Johan trying to get a paycheck. What? Mary, good morning, says, like that caller said, what Marl Road saying now? Or another statement, I better tell Sandra / Marl Road about that if you want anything done, but yet they don't like her. Lizette, good morning. She says, congrats, many more gossips to come. Of course. Shelley says, on behalf of this overseas Caymanian, thank you for keeping us up to date. Keep it up, honey child. Thank you, Miss Shelley. So good to see our amazing Caymanians all over the world. Emma says, good morning. Happy Friday, beautiful people. The Cayman Islands, be happy and blessed and stay safe. And congrats to CMR. Good morning, Miss Faith. Irvelin says, we need to have a CMR celebration Zoom party. Let's do it. Cameron says, if I was Sandy, I would troll them hard this morning by wearing a crown all day long, all show long. Oh, Lord, I don't even have a crown. Does Gigi still have her birthday crown? I should go see if I can find it. That would be so funny, Cameron. I like your sense of humor. Good morning, caller.
Sandra, I have to call in again because I remembered something.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't there some story you did that was picked up by international media?
Oh, yes, honey child. Went viral.
Which article Compass right that get picked up by international media?
Well, not picked up at that level. I mean, they might have some regional.
Right there.
Okay. All right. I won't be arguing with you. Thank you, caller.
All right.
Miss Lucille says, good morning, Sandy. Congratulations again. I don't need to ask what is going on at home. I can see and hear myself. I love the show. All I beg is that you don't get too hot today. Cayman is hot enough. So be cool. Stay blessed. You all love. Irvelin says, no one throws stones at green fruit. They throw stones at the right pretty ones. Horace says 3 kabooms for CMR. Let's do it. Kaboom! Kaboom number 1. Hold on, honey child. Kaboom! Kaboom number 2, honey child. One more. Kaboom! There you go. Thank you, Horace. Thank you. Hilda says it's simple. Stay out of trouble and you won't end up on CMR. It's simple for some of us, but others find it hard. Alexander, good morning. Cameron says some of these people tuned in right now. Yes, honey child, they be like sneaky link listening. Debbie sending some love to Zeus. Christian says, I don't know what that question's about, Christian, but that's not on topic. But thank you anyway. John LaRue says it reeks of pure arrogance when people say, do you know who I am? He said Donnie Smith was the king of, do you know who I am? And I'll get you kicked off the island. Lord Jesus. Shaka Zulu says the person putting that out there wasn't confident enough in their own writing skills to put it in their own words. The most certainly used AI. Anyone with any understanding of how AI works can see that. Oh, really? You think that was AI? I don't know. By the way, Auntie Sandy, that narrative put out last night is quite likely written by someone using AI. There are all the telltale signs in that article. Oh, I mean, I don't use AI, so I don't even know. Shaka Zulu goes on, says, congrats again, CMR fam. I think you achieve what we instinctively know. CMR has been number one in our books for quite some time now. Thank you very much. Lucky Body says, in my opinion, Taylor's new album, oh, we not business with Taylor. Okay. So, yeah, let's get it. Let's look at the, what was penned. We'll talk about it. And then we'll also have a look at my response to it. Okay. So this is a narrative that was sent out. Like I said, this person sent this out on WhatsApp. Didn't put a name to it. I certainly don't take people seriously who don't put their name to anything. I saw somebody else says that as well in the WhatsApp comments. But I think it still needed to be addressed, because what the attempt here is, I'm going to put this up on the screen. What the attempt here is to try to claim that here on Mall Road, we are harassing people, right? First of all, they give me so much credit. Instagram folks, your link is going to disconnect here in a second, and I'm going to restart you, okay? So don't worry, we got you. Yeah, the crazy thing here is that they are seeking to give us a whole lot of credit, but when you pull it apart, it's a bunch of nonsense. Okay, we'll break it down. It starts off saying the damaging impact of Cayman Mall Road on the community of the Cayman Islands. Wow. In the tranquil shores, I mean, now that you say AI, I just thought to myself, this is someone who actually has a love for writing, creative writing, right? It did made me think that whoever wrote this is actually a really good writer. But I got to be honest with you, Shaka Zulu, I never thought of AI at all. That didn't even cross my mind. So, it's interesting that you say that. I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind now. It says, in the tranquil shores of the Cayman Islands, a storm brews not of nature's making, but of human construction. Wow. Listen, as a student of literature, remember, I'm an English major. That was my first degree in university. This is some good writing. This is creative. This is like some of the best novels in the world have kind of started off with this same type of mood. In the tranquil shores of the Cayman Islands, a storm brews, not of nature's making, but of human construction. Oh my God, it's like dun, dun, dun. Here we go. At the heart of this tempest lies Cayman Mall Road. Ooh, honey child. A media outlet whose actions have stirred controversy and division within the local community. Really? So funny, because we brought people together far more than we have divided people. The only people we dividing are these politicians that not no good. Because when we expose them, they get up in their feelings. Wow. Hold on, IG. Let me bring you back. Let me bring you back in the fold. It just disconnected. Give me 1 second, honey. Chill. Yeah, this is like reading a really interesting fairy tale. Mm-hmm. All right, hold on 1 second. Got to get our Instagram people back. My apologies for this new way of having to do this, but it's annoying, but hey, what you gonna do? All right, let's continue reading it. Okay. While media plays a crucial role in society, you see, they know that they couldn't pen something and try to underpin media. Which media do they think is playing a crucial role in Cayman? I'm just curious. Who would somebody who penned this be signing off on? Because they don't like Wendy Ledger either. They're all up in their feelings about Wendy. Luke Cayman, they probably don't care about too much because they're not over there ruffling anybody's feathers. Caymanian Times don't ruffle feathers. They rarely have anybody reading. The Compass, sometimes they ruffle feathers. I'm going to be fair to them. But most of the time, they just kind of, go with the flow. So which media is it that they think play a crucial role in Cayman? Oh, Must be the government-owned media. That's the only ones that they'd be supporting. The same government-owned media that, according to the Tower Marketing Report, only a few people of you are even paying any attention to. CIGTV was like one of the lowest on the media totem pole because nobody is watching what government is pumping out. They're paying millions of dollars for media communications and CIGTV, and nobody's even paying attention. You think maybe they need to purchase this report and make some changes? But instead, they've already told us they're going to pump more money. Again, data-driven decisions. They're going to pump more money into media communications, CIG, TV, and so on. Anyway, I digress. My apologies. Let's continue reading. Cayman Mall Road's persistent harassment of individuals and dissemination of inaccurate information have sparked outrage. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shouldn't that be has? But I digress. I digress. Because that verb would be attached to harassment. Harassment has sparked outrage, or harassment have sparked outrage. Anywho, that's the English major in me querying that, but let's move on. Have sparked outrage and are detrimentally affecting the fabric of Caymanian life. I love that saying, fabric of Caymanian life. Harassment, whether online or offline. Who am I harassing offline? Inflicts profound harm on individuals and communities alike. Cayman Mall Road's tactics often cross the line from journalism into personal attacks, causing distress and fear among its targets. Something is funny about how this is written. Shaka Zulu, I think you might be onto something, you know. Causing distress and fear among its targets. Okay. By relentlessly pursuing sensationalistic stories, okay, and engaging in character assassination, this media outlet undermines a sense of safety and security that should prevail within the community. So the mass shootings isn't what's making you guys feel not safe and secure? It's Cayman Mall Road? Okay, let's keep reading. Moreover, the dissemination of inaccurate information by Cayman Mall Road erodes public trust and sows seeds of discord. In a small and tightly knit community like the Cayman Islands, false rumors and baseless allegations can spread like wildfire, leading to unwarranted strife and division. Responsible journalism demands accuracy, accountability, and integrity. Let me pump the brakes here. Yeah, we demand that every day, especially from our MPs, but let's continue. Qualities that seem conspicuously absent in Cayman Mall Road's reporting. The consequences of Cayman Mall Road's actions are far-reaching and profound. Wow. We're that impactful? Individuals targeted by this outlet may suffer irreparable harm to their reputation and livelihoods. Moreover, the broader community is left grappling with the fallout of divisive narratives and misinformation, hindering social cohesion and collective progress. Woo, honey child. This really is a mouthful. In the face of these challenges, it's imperative for the community of the Cayman Islands to demand accountability and ethical conduct from its media outlets. Yeah, we trying to demand that from the MPs. How about you write something about them? While freedom of speech is a fundamental right, it must be exercised responsibly with due regard for the well-being and dignity of all members of society. Cayman Mall Road must be held to the same standards of professionalism and integrity as any other media organization. And swift action should be taken to address instances of harassment and misinformation. Let me just pause there for a second and assure you, without fear of contradiction, the police have me on speed dial and they know how to find me. If there's any harassment or misinformation, they knock on my door. Okay? So don't think for 1 second that I am not held to account. Y'all know this already. This is so much fake and false information. They're talking about a fake and false narrative. And this is this is dribbling with so much false stuff. Cayman Mall Road, misinformation. 97% of what we put out there is 100% accurate. Show me where it's not. And if we get it wrong, we're the first ones to correct it. I have no issues with saying we were wrong. I'm going to tell y'all where I think this is coming from. Additionally, fostering a culture of media literacy and critical thinking, that's a joke, is essential for equipping individuals with the tools to discern fact from fiction and resist the influence of sensationalist narratives. By empowering citizens to question and evaluate the information they encounter, we can fortify our collective resilience. You know what, Shaka Zulu? I need to take my hat off to you. I do think this was written by AI. I didn't, to be honest, I glanced over it. I wasn't really going to give it much thought. And I addressed it generally speaking. But now that I'm reading this out loud, I think you are 1,000% accurate. Which means anybody could have instructed the AI engine to do it, I suppose. By empowering citizens to question and evaluate the information they encounter, which, not for nothing, but that's what we do every single day, we can fortify our collective resilience against the corrosive effects of irresponsible media practices. Ultimately, the well-being of the Cayman Islands community depends on the cultivation of a media landscape that prioritizes truth, fairness, and respect. Cayman Road's reign of harassment and misinformation must come to an end if we are to safeguard the values that define us as a society and nurture a future of unity, trust, and mutual respect. Show me where that exists in Cayman, Lord Jesus. It is time to raise our voices in defense of integrity and accountability for the sake of our community and generations to come. Wow. Integrity and accountability, something that we beg for every single day here on this show, especially from our leaders. Okay. People have had all sorts of suspicions about where this is coming from. Okay. I don't know who AI generated this. I have a list of suspects, but it could be anybody. I mean, I don't use AI, so I don't have a clue. Let me tell you, though, what I think this is about. 3 critical things. Number 1, last week's show about the minister and his behavior has hit hard. Okay? And it's not just that minister. It applies to all ministers who lack integrity in different aspects of their lives. And I hate to tell you all, but in the Cayman Islands, that's the majority. It's not too many that are what you see is what you get. The duplicitousness of the people that are running this country, truthfulness, honesty, integrity, that would be refreshing. Accountability, that would be refreshing for them to have. They don't have it. The vast majority of them do not have it. That's the first thing. That ministers in his feelings. So his little bosom buddy, Chris Saunders, could have written something like this, or could have AI generated this, because he's taken enough heat too for his ridiculous behavior. No integrity, no accountability, right? All of that. And I've not said anything about these guys that's untrue. So I believe if I had to pick a suspect and somebody just wrote me in and he's on the list, I think this is actually Chris Saunders. First of all, he got a little bit too much time on his hands. But he's on the list of suspects, but it doesn't matter to me. Because, Chris, you're always talking about people with testicular fortitude. But yet you wouldn't have the testicular fortitude to sign your name to something like this? Honey, chap, please. You will soon be dismissed from political office in this country. We got to just find the right person who is going to take you out. Okay, the third thing. Did I get to 2 already? So first is what happened last Friday. The second thing is what happened yesterday. All of a sudden, by a reputable organization, the information has come out that CMR is in them one slot. That has a lot of people up in their feelings. A lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot. Too many people, perhaps, is a better word. They're up in their feelings about that. They think, oh my God, what is this going to do? I don't know what it's going to change, because, I mean, it certainly hasn't changed any numbers in my bank account. Nobody differently not knocking on my door. I appreciate the recognition and acknowledgement, like I said, of what everybody else seemed to have known already. We're like, whoo, great. That's fine. The third thing, which is very, very important, is we are now 1 year out pretty much from a general election. Last general election, CMR was a force to be reckoned with. And that was our first general election. That was our first little time at that playground, right? We had a 7.5-hour show on nomination day, where we were at every single station. Election day, we put on a show that blew everybody else out of the water. People's political meetings that were live streamed with us, in real time, I'd be sitting there viewing the numbers. What do they call themselves? Progressives would be having a meeting, and they were live streaming on Compass. And I looked at their numbers. CMR would be live streaming anybody, Elvis, the West Bay candidates, and we would have double and triple the live stream numbers. We were a force to be reckoned with last time, and a lot of people never saw it coming. This time, coming into the 2025 general election, a lot of people see it coming. Do y'all remember Monday's show where I said, well before the general election, we're going to go through and talk about what we are looking for in our elected officials so we are not fooled by them. We're going to hold them to task. You would think the vast majority of them want that level of accountability? Y'all have got to think again. Good morning, caller.
Morning. So I just wanted to call in. You hit the nail on the head there with the election part. Election coming up, so they're scared. But here's my thing, right? Just like how they're treating you, right? And they question everything that you report on. Shouldn't we be that way with everyone? Because I don't take what anyone says for golden truth. Like, I'm going to question everything.
That's right.
And so I don't always agree with your tactics. I don't. You as a person, I have nothing against you. I don't always agree with things you report on, or sometimes I think it's a waste of time. But at the end of the day, you're a necessary evil, so to speak. Like, it's needed. It is needed. Because like you said, it can't just be one media house running the show, and you give the information and you do what you like.
Yes.
Like if I'm hearing something about someone's personal life or whatever, if I don't want to listen, I'll turn it off.
Exactly.
Or if I think that's important, then I'm going to investigate and be like, oh, well, yeah, there is truth to this, and do with it what you like. But we should be like that with all media.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how CNN and Fox and those got to where they were, because no one questioned anything.
Yeah.
They just listened to what they said and believed everything.
Yes.
But we should be like that with everyone.
Thank you so much, caller. Okay. And the other thing that was interesting, right? Last week, there's some people, again, they're in the minority, who were like, oh, you're picking on this one singular minister. And I thought that was so ironic, because I was like, listen, first of all, I didn't name the minister, and I didn't name him on purpose, as you can well imagine, right? But there are people who I have named on this program, or who I've alluded to, and everybody knows who they are, from the character that we created. What's his name again? I can't even remember his name. E-Banks, remember that character that we created? Everybody knows who I'm talking about. There's no secrets. And I have talked about, let's just put the list together of people who I have had to, unfortunately, talk about their personal behavior, because their personal behavior overshadows every single thing that they're doing, even in the political arena. Go down the list. Makiva Bush, Alden McLaughlin, Juliana O'Connor Connolly, Joey Hugh. There's so many of them. I got trying to, the twin that's in there, David. Who else? John Seymour. Trying to think who else, honey child. Gosh, there's so many of them. Even J.E. Banks. Y'all might not know it, but he's been called out too. So I've called out at least 7. Oh, Chris Saunders. Oh, shoot. How can I forget Chris? Chris Saunders. Kenneth Bryan. That's like 9 that I can think of off the top of my head. There are probably others. They have all been called out about egregious personal behavior that really puts a smear on them politically. Huh? But yet last week, well, she don't be calling out nobody else. Why she just picked on this one minister? I'm like, are y'all crazy? You see, don't deny the truth. And like this Strutton Ebanks, thank y'all. Let me try and write down Strutton's name, because I keep forgetting him, honey chill. Y'all know Strutton Ebanks likes to be talking to little boys and paying them money and stuff like that. Harassing people, biting on people and all kind of foolishness. Yeah. I've talked about all of them, because I'm an equal opportunity calling out your BS kind of person. because I don't care who you are. And this is why they need to recognize that for me, it's nothing personal. Don't take it personal when you get called out, because the same rules apply to everybody else. How can I have one standard for this MP and another standard for this MP? I wouldn't even be able to keep it straight in my head. It's like these are the ground rules. The people of this country expect you to operate with a degree of integrity. And if you can't do so, there are lots of other jobs out there that you can get involved in that probably don't require you to have any integrity in your personal life at all. And then you wouldn't be on our radar. We don't care. If you are out there doing whatever and you don't represent this country, you are never likely, unless it's something that you start fighting in the streets, you end up getting arrested about, whatever, then you're going to get called out. But other than that, we don't care. Go and get your lives together. Because the people of this country are ultimately suffering because of your actions. Faded Mary Jean says, why not put your signature to this? Asking the person who wrote it, because I know they're watching. See, now AI gets the credit. Yeah. Anyway, here's my response that was aired last night. I wanted to share it because I know a lot of you on radio and so on may not have social media. So have a listen to this, folks. Good evening, everyone. This is a special segment of the cold hard truth, I suppose. Just me taking an opportunity to address a few things that have been happening this week. Boy, has this been an amazing week in so many different respects. To have an individual exposed in my inner circle who appears to not really be a friend at all has been a blessing in disguise. It's very, very important for me to live in truth, honesty, and integrity. And it's also important for me to surround myself with people who also share those core principles. And when they don't, I can't have that person in my inner circle. They become an acquaintance. And so I'm still processing that situation, but I am grateful for the very bold individual who came forward and shared the information that they did with me. And it's a lot that I'm having to take in. And this poor person suffered mental distress hearing some of the things that were actually being said, because this person was trying to put the fear of God or the fear of you're going to lose your job, the fear of all these sorts of consequences in this individual. And so that has been a lot to process. Then this evening, a lot of you probably got this headline, again, it's so crazy that people can pen this stuff and don't even have the cojones to put their name to it. I don't take anything seriously that people can't put their name to. If I have something to say about someone, if I'm going to call someone out, if I'm going to call an issue out, you can hear it in my voice, you can hear my reasoning, you can hear my logic, and then you can question that, you can come after me, whatever. Someone has put out this thing that's circulating on WhatsApp called the damaging impact of Cayman Mall Road on the community of the Cayman Islands. It is no coincidence that this is going out the very day that the Tower Marketing Report becomes public and is available for all to see, that has now placed us, Cayman Mall Road, in the number one position over the compass. And trust me when I say to you, on the one hand, this is an amazing feat. It's an amazing accomplishment. And you would wish that all of your Caymanians especially would be happy for you. The entire community would be happy for you. But that isn't going to be the case. That you're going to have haters now like, oh my God, here's a reputable company, right? Tower Marketing must be 20 plus years of working in this community. They've been doing these surveys for God knows how long. I don't even know. And, they have done a survey with people in this community. And those people have said, when asked the question, name your top 3 news sources, they put CMR in the lead by some 8%. And that's coming from behind last year. And in the space of a year, we have not only overtaken the compass, but we have actually exceeded that. and in the lead by 8%. So there's a lot of people, I can tell you, that are not happy with this at all. You know, it's one of those situations where they're like, oh my God, we can't have CMR crowned as the leading news source in this community. A lot of you already knew that. You've said that to me today. You've already felt for a long time that that was the case. You guys know the deal. Most of you are not going around picking up a compass anymore, even now that it's free. The stacks of newspapers are still there. But it is the very thought in the minds of certain people in this community, mostly elite, but some who are just plain haters, some of our own people, some of our own Caymanians who, you know, never saw the vision that I had almost 8 years ago, never saw Cayman Mall Road going anywhere. They wanted this to be an abject failure. And now that it's proven to be otherwise, you know, it brings out a certain amount of hate in the community. It doesn't bother me. And you know why? Because anybody can be anonymous. I must say, I'm going to give them credit. It's actually well written. This is someone who is intellectually capable, and they should be using their time to make some contributions to the educational system, which is in a dire situation in this country, as opposed to writing this long message about, oh, you know, CMR is so horrible. There's a storm brewing, dissemination of inaccurate information. 97% of what we put out there is 100% accurate. And that has been from day one. If it don't go so, it go close to so. We've never claimed to ever be 100% accurate. But I can tell you there's a lot of stories that we have broken. And this actually reminds me of when the Compass and CNS have had to come back and refer to our reports of things that happen in this community. Well, according to CMR, because they didn't want to take the flak on it. They didn't have the source on it, but we had the source. According to CMR, the off-reg board was fighting and blah, 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 blah. Well, CMR was 100% accurate. And this has been happening for years now. Talking about fostering a culture of media literacy. How about you focus on fostering a culture of literacy in this country? That would be amazing because our children are failing. They can't read. They can't write. They can't do their arithmetic. That is what you need to focus on. But what you going to do? Absolutely nothing. So, folks, I've seen the message. It has zero impact on me. I don't really care because you, the people, know how incredibly impactful this platform has been for you. We get more phone calls. We solve more issues, whether it's issues with government, with private individuals, landlords and tenants. You know, the government can't fix the landlord and tenancy law. They can't protect your children from sexual molesters. There's so many things that are falling through the cracks and simply not getting done. And they have time to focus on, oh, it's all Cayman Mall Road's fault. Cayman Mall Road is tearing apart this community. And, you know, you all have to demand accountability and ethical conduct from its media outlets. That's so funny and ironic because just on Friday, I was saying that we need to demand accountability and ethical conduct from our elected officials, namely from our ministers. And you know what the position of some of you are? I don't care about that. That's what some of you called in and said. I'm not concerned about that. I don't care about that. That's none of my business. That's his personal business. Who cares? So you don't care about you've never written any dribble about the accountability and morality and integrity and ethical conduct of the leaders of this country. But you're worried about Cayman Mall Road? As though we are the premier of this country? As though we have such power? And this is precisely what it comes down to, folks. Read between the lines. Nobody takes the time, nobody of this intellectual level would take the time to write this foolishness if they don't feel there's a real and imminent threat. And you know what the real and imminent threat is actually all about? It is about Cayman Mall Road being the voice of the average person on the street, requesting accountability of our elected officials, requesting accountability and ethical conduct of our civil servants. In fact, demanding accountability from the RCIPS, from the courts, from even the guys sitting on the side of the street, smoking and drinking on the job. saying that's not right. That's not a good image for us as Caymanians. No, there are people, and the vast majority of you I know don't fall into this category, but there's still people in this community who wish to have that continue to be the narrative. They don't want any real accountability. That's just lip service. That's just a word that come election time, they'll throw around in order to get your vote. You see, on Friday and Monday show, we talked about holding our MPs and our elected officials to a different standard. We talked about anybody wanting to run for public office being know that their foot is going to be put to the fire, that their history is going to be called into question. What have you achieved? What have you done? Who are you? What do you represent? Right? And I can tell you the vast majority of them are not prepared to have that type of, dissection of who they are as a candidate. It's just too much. And so somebody said to me over the weekend, Sandy, in the upcoming election, you are going to be at the table of determining who is going to form this government. And we want you at our table. And we know that other people are going to be courting you, and we're asking you to not make any decisions. This is what this is really all about. Whoever penned this is about trying their best before the 2025 election. And they did it last time. I heard all sorts of rumors. Oh, they're going to buy you out before the election and this and that. This is what this is all about. Someone, my apologies, a group of people, quite frankly, want to try to undermine CMR so that they think that going into the election, we're going to be impotent and that the people will not have their voices heard. Folks, my fellow Caymanians, I can assure you that that is not going to be the case. The compass is all up in arms today because this information has gone out. They don't have anything to really worry about. They have a legacy of 50 years of people supporting them no matter what they do. Let me be very, very clear. They've had previous owners, and I'm not talking about the DART organization. I'm talking about Mr. Leggy, who hated Caymanians as far as I'm concerned, didn't like this island very much, talked all sorts of things about us to the point where all MPs voted to stop advertising with his organization. Al then reversed that without any consultation or approval from a single member of the Legislative Assembly, who at the time, they all voted unanimously to stop advertising with the compass. Imagine that. And he reverses it, and it goes back to the Godo Boy Network, back together again. Everybody's all kissy, and they're good to go. CMR has never played by those rules, and they know that they can't buy me out, okay? That's a problem when you're playing in this arena, because they think, wow, we can't throw money at Sandy. We can't compromise her integrity. We can't do this. We can't do that. Everybody has a price to be fair, but I have set my price so high that I doubt any of them are going to be able to reach it. Yeah, that's what you have to do in order to keep yourself on the straight and narrow. And so, as it turns out, they feel like now we cannot believe it. We cannot believe she is officially crowned the number one. It's like, where's my crown? I need to go find it. She's officially crowned the number one media source in this country, the number one talk show with a 72% listenership preferred. Those 72% of the people surveyed preferred to listen to the cold hard truth as opposed to anything else. The other talk shows primarily lost ground. One went from 25% down to 14% since last year. This is scary for these people who get on those other platforms and spew their lies because nobody's over there even listening to it. So they're pivoting. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We can't let Sandy be such a force to be reckoned with. This isn't about me. This isn't about Cayman Mall Road. This is ultimately about the people of the Cayman Islands. Rest assured that I will do my part, people. I will be here for the people. I will continue to seek out truth no matter what. Don't allow them to scare you, to frighten you. They can send around as many well put together dribble as they want. That's on them. They're not shaking me. I am firm in my commitment to this community. Cayman Mall Road has never been a cookie cutter news media from day one. We are 8 years in now. Nothing is going to change in terms of that. We are here for the people, for the average person. That is my commitment. I've always said that Cayman Mall Road was a passion and not a paycheck, and I remain firm in that position. Now, you all have a choice. You'll read this stuff without a doubt, and you'll have to decide how much you want to buy into it or not. That's entirely up to you. You don't have to forward it to me. I'm good. If I've seen it once, you can believe I don't need to see it again. Y'all will ultimately have to decide where the line is going to be drawn. Are you going to continue to allow people to manipulate you, right? It's easy to talk about, oh, we're crossing the line from journalism into personal attacks. Don't confuse the two. First of all, what happens in the Cold Hard Truth? That is a talk show. That is an opinion-based talk show. Not unlike many in the US. You guys have seen politically driven talk shows that cover topics that go hard on politicians, just like what we do. The talk show is not journalism. You see how they try to cross the lines here and confuse people? That's not journalism. It's a talk show. And if I want to have an opinion about our slack and no good MPs, the messiness that they're out in these streets with, I will have my opinion. That's an opinion-based show, and I will express it. And there are times that, yes, we're going to have the after hours segment where we're going to go a little bit extra hard. And yes, I may even use some profanity, and I'm going to call them what they actually are. A number of colorful words, no doubt. That's not the website. The website is the news site. That's 99% journalism, covering all sorts of topics in this community. We have different aspects to this platform. You don't have to like it. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to read it. You don't have to watch a talk show. You don't have to watch us on social media. Do yourselves a favor. Unfollow, unlike, don't read, don't watch. And guess what? The numbers prove what we already know, is that the vast majority of people are interested in most of what we publish. Nobody's going to agree with everything. So what? That's fine. But we bring you all sorts of different news. So whilst they're over here trying to undermine, I know, I don't know who wrote this, but I know that this is a culmination of Friday's show, which has almost 20,000 views. Go check it out. Calling out these MPs and their slackness, right? Our day numbers are growing for the talk show. Even on social media, they were averaging 5,000 views each. Now that has gone up this year. There's an exponential increase in their influence in this community. And they do not like that. That's a problem for them. They're seeing this as, oh, CMR has too much power, but it's not CMR that has the power. It is the people that have the power. Prime example, Clifton Hunter sat there with moldy carpet for years. CMR finally said enough is enough, called them out, and within weeks, if not less than that, they were able to rip out all the carpet and replace tile. Your children, your asthmatic children, were getting mold spores in their lungs. Teachers and administrators at the school were out sick. Go check the sick record, and you'll see that they had a higher than normal instance of children missing school and teachers being out sick because of this health hazard. Your Department of Education, your minister, who is also the premier of this country, and Ministry of Education, did nothing about it. We have received footage, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow, of the pool in Cayman Brac that is green with algae. It does not even get cleaned at this facility that no one knows what the facility was ever built for because it has never even been used. And yet the AC stays at 60, 65 degrees 24/7. And we, the people, are paying for that bill. And the leadership of this country wants to turn around and spend another $50 million on the BRAC for school for less than 200 kids. And we must justify that level of expense. And yet, a country that spends $200 million on education has a 76% failure rate of our elementary school students. They don't want you to focus on the real issues, because the day that you focus on the real issues, you would be voting them out of office. You would be having enough of them and their lies and their deception. Instead, they throw you a red herring. Oh, the problems in this country is CMR. The well-being of the Cayman Islands community depends on the cultivation of a media landscape that prioritizes truth, fairness, and respect. What about the truth, fairness, and respect for our children? No one has had the fortitude, the gonads, whatever you want to call it, to put in a sex offenders registry in this country to protect our children from predators. Why do you think that is? That's because too many of them are predators themselves, or they have close family members and community members that are. Every single one of them know a predator, and some of them are right up there in the Legislative Assembly. But yet they want to talk about our community should prioritize truth, fairness, and respect. What about those same principles in relation to protecting our children, our elderly, and other disenfranchised people in this community? When is that going to apply? When is that going to become a priority? I have to wonder. At the end of the day, folks, they don't have any impact on me. I will be just perfectly fine. We as a country may not be so. And so you've got to stand up. You've got to send a very, very clear message. Whoever had the time to sit down and write this, please find something more meaningful to do, because you're not impressing anyone. Circulate it to everybody on WhatsApp. That's perfectly fine. What you're not going to do is, in this moment when we should be celebrating the fact that a Caymanian-owned business has been able to reach, even if it's just in numbers alone, it's certainly not financially, but have been able to reach such heights as being crowned the island's #1 news source. Isn't that amazing? It's a David and Goliath story. We have gone up against the big boys. Compass, 50 years old, millions of dollars, 30 plus staff members writing, a dedicated reporter for, court, dedicated reporter for lifestyle, dedicated photographers, videographers, all of that stuff. Ability to print their own newspaper, unlimited resources. And somehow we have managed to officially unseat them as the #1 media source in the Cayman Islands. You don't think that there's some people whose feathers are being ruffled tonight at that organization? I don't know if they're the ones behind this, and I don't really care. But I know some feathers are being ruffled. I know that they're looking at shows like the Rush Hour going, only 1% of people surveyed prefer this. Why again are we wasting money on this? We need to redeploy her and do something else. Why are we printing a newspaper and nobody's picking up, even when it's free? Those are some solid questions as an organization that I'm sure are now being asked, as rightfully they should be. So, folks, the long and short of it is this. I'm going to stay focused. Straight ahead is 2025, God's willing. The election, we're going to do what we did last year, but even better. We're going to bring you guys the slate of candidates. We're going to dissect which ones are, in my opinion, deserving of even being heard, because some of them, trust me when I tell you, when you see some of the ones that are going to declare, if they do declare, they are not worth you even listening to, because their track record is dismal. Yeah? Their track record is horrific. They will bring nothing to the table for this country. We've got to raise the bar. I'm raising the bar every single day at Cayman Mall Road, and I will continue to do so. That is my job. That's my responsibility. Like I said, you don't have to like it, just like you don't have to listen to the platform. You don't have to watch it. But it's really, really telling. They say timing, there's no coincidence in timing with certain things. This message that has gone out, there's no coincidence in timing. This is all about somebody really hurt. Well, when young people say they got butt hurt, they're in their feelings bad today. And it's not going to change the numbers. Nothing's going to happen. In fact, what they might do is push more people over to her side because people now recognize that, there is a serious affront here. We are at war, so to speak. And sadly, they will pull out all the stops and do anything that they can to try to discredit us. So I just getting a message. Congratulations with CMR with this milestone. Well, let me finish reading this message to y'all. Just came into my phone. The positive message, and this is what I want to say. This person said, congratulations with this milestone as it was expected. CMR is my main source for reliable news and happenings in real time. Keep up the excellent work and one love, Auntie Sandy. People are just too upset, quite frankly, that we have done what we have done. Somebody said, not even with a printer. It's so funny. It wasn't expected. And maybe that has caught people off guard. It wasn't expected. They didn't expect us to go anywhere, to be successful, to do anything. And let me say this, any young person out there wanting to move the needle in your community, in your industry, in your business, you can do it. There will be tons of naysayers out there, but you just need to focus, right? Have your game plan, focus on that, and all the exterior noise, because that's what it is, just block that foolishness out. That's not going to be here nor there. You stand firm in your position, and you can do it. You can do it. It has shocked them that as a one-woman organization with a small team of supporters, when I mean that, I mean one person helping write, one web designer, one graphic designer, the smallest team in the world, I suppose, helping run a media house, that we have been able to reach this far. And glory to God, huh? Because trust me, that man has had my back from day one. I have been blessed beyond measure. And I'm thankful every single day. I get up and I give thanks. The journey has been real. It has been amazing. And we're going to continue. We're going to continue in honesty. We're going to continue in truth. We're going to continue in integrity. All those words that those people want to throw out there at you, right? We're going to continue in all of those things. That's what has them all upset. Wow. So amazing. Stay tuned, folks. 2024 is only getting started. It's April. We're going to be getting bigger and better and addressing more issues and doing more things. I'm actually having a meeting with one member of my team this week. We're going to be looking at all the different areas that we need to be jumping on and improving our mark on this community. We are nowhere near done. We're only just beginning. Only just beginning. Stay positive, folks. You're always going to have naysayers out there, but keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. You guys have a wonderful day. All right, folks. So again, that was a little bit of a replay that was recorded last night and played last night on social. But I wanted to replay it here today because I know that some people may not have had the opportunity to listen to it. 936-2626. The phone lines are open. And, that's all I have to say on this, really, folks. We got too many important things that, quite frankly, we need to be discussing in this community. First and foremost, thank you all very, very much for all the amazing congratulatory messages. Let me just read a few comments, and then we're going to move on to dissecting a bit of a situation over at Cayman Airways with their pilots and staff, because this is worthy of attention. And this is where we make a difference, right? Kathy, good morning. Kathy says, difference between CMR and the rest is that there's no censorship and the people have a say. We love it. Damien says, hope that we see some candidates that will implement revoking status under certain circumstances and PR. Aliano Morning says, hey, buck trend and set yourself different. That's the status quo. Because we can see if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, then you are ostracized from those of mediocre. Stephanie says, fantastic approach. Let the people know from the beginning. Cameron says, I don't know why they're all in their feelings. They're lucky Sandy didn't disclose half of the things in her archives. Oh, by the way, I got to 9 people. And of course, I forgot Barbara has also been featured on the show. And again, you know, the reason why it's done, I think, is what has to be understood. It's not about we're all that concerned about these people and their personal affairs. If they were private citizens, we could care less. What happens when you enter the political arena? For example, you know, in the case of Barbara, she is unfortunately manipulated very, very easily by the men in the progressives. And, you know, I hope that one day she can find her own inner strength, her own political strength to really step forward and represent the issues that as a female representative, we would love for her to stand for, as opposed to being, you know, controlled by these puppet masters to do their bidding for them. Johan says, I don't always agree with her and her delivery style. Some of it's hilarious and ghetto or content, but CMR is the only vehicle that challenges the BS, the players, and holds them accountable. Who are you trying to call ghetto? That's the part that you love the most. I don't know who you be lying to, Johan, but you're not lying to me. Honey, chill. Johan, be here for those segments especially. Alejandro says some might blame CMR for any destruction when their mirror must be broken and neck broken or something. Stephanie says, that's right, Sandra. My position in all of my meetings is really, can you show me that in writing? Mary says, huge congrats to CMR for winning that crown. Oh, by the way, this is the closest thing I could find to a crown in the house. It just says, it's my birthday. We don't have crowns around here. Sorry. We're not beauty queens or anything, but this was the closest thing that Gigi could dig out of her box for me. So I'm going to wear it today and pretend like it's a crown. Mary says, huge congratulations to Sandy, Cayman Mall Road, for winning that crown. So very deserving. Keep holding them accountable and continue to help the people of these islands. Stephanie says, you do have a crown, many crowns. Well, I'm going to pretend like this is one today. It says it's my birthday. It really isn't. Shaka Zulu says, those of us who work with AI overseas in its various forms know the varying aspects of AI and its rigidity. I also saw your message to send it to you. Shaka Zulu says, if you can provide me with a copy or link to the article here or your email address, and I will provide you with what percentage of that article was AI generated. Email us, Shaka Zulu. I'm happy to forward it to you. They sent it on WhatsApp, so I guess they must have just done a copy and a paste. But our email is tips@caymanmallroad.com. Everton says, speaking the truth always hurts. It will cut you like a razor. Some people will not like you because you speak the truth, and they say you're always saying negative things. Who gives a rat's nest? Everton, you're on island. You wanted a radio? Just WhatsApp me your information and I will sort one out for you. Stephanie says, one of my cousins and veteran politicians once said to me, Stephanie, bring me 5 Caymanians that can agree on one subject and I will run again. I'm still working on that number. Sad indictment on us. Denver, good morning. Denver says, Sandy, what do you expect? CMR is owned and operated by a Caymanian and a black one, not a white one. As you know, we're our own worst enemy. God bless. Diamond Princess, good morning. Says CMR is different from all the other media. What it gives, no others can give. It's diverse with multiple topics. Medical rundown is very helpful for us as people on this island. Scammers being caught by getting called out in CMR. And many other accomplishments, CMR will continue to grow. Thank you so much, Diamond Princess, as they say, from your lips to God's ears. Also, Diamond adds the one talk show that people from other countries tune into and listen every single morning. Stephanie says, when they ask you what you make working at CMR, you tell them you make a difference. Hallelujah. Magnum says the blessing is only part of it. Hard work got you here, right? And people seem to forget that. It's unfortunate, but you know, people don't know, honey child. None of this happened overnight. Barbara says, excellent job, CMR. Thank you. Jasara in the house says, congrats to CMR. Johan, you know you love the sauce, says Natasha. Child, please. He'd be the first one in the front, like, ooh, I want to hear it. He loves it. Dana, good morning. Thank you for the congratulatory messages. Miss Sue says, we know that we hear the cold hard truth from you. And yes, we have a saying, and that what matters also, you help so many people in a lot of different ways. Thank you, Miss Sue. Faith says, oh, wow, congrats. Thank you, Natasha. Shamika says congrats as well. Thank you. Last night recording. Yes, Damien, we did that as a replay. Okay. So no, it's not my birthday. It's the closest thing I've got to a crown. Sandy said, Queen Elizabeth, leave her crown with me. FedEx, it's on the way. Thank you, Jamila. All right. So listen, a lot of you saw this story about Cayman Airways and the young pilot, Amber Hides, who is asking for her pay. So, of course, there are people in the pilot fraternity. Child, this crown hurts. I got to take this off. This is giving me a headache. I'm not used to anything on my poor little head, honey child. I got sensitive scalp, you know. I can't wear that crown any longer. Sorry. That's not for me. So, people in the pilot fraternity sent it to me and they said, Sandy, we know that you'd be interested in this story. And I thought, oh man, what on earth is this now? Listen, let me say this. I don't personally know Amber, but I think from what I've seen, she seems to be a very bright, intelligent young lady. I think anyone who becomes a pilot has to have a certain intellectual capability for sure. They work very, very hard to get where they are. And I know this because my sister, Vita, was Cayman's first female pilot ever, way back in the day. And I also know from hearing stories, not really so much from her, because as you know, we would not have grown up in the same household. We're from a slightly different generation. She's older than me. But I've heard, stories passed down in the family about why she ended up leaving a career that something she worked so hard for back in those days. And I kind of remember at times being in my mom's house and seeing her pilot books back in those days. They wouldn't have had all of these simulation type things that they got qualified on, right? Her books were like yay thick, like learning the instruments and a pilot and a plane, all this kind of stuff. And to my recollection, she again would have been the first female to not just do the smaller planes, but we're talking about the big jet and stuff as well, right? So hats off to all of the women who have tried to, somebody said, I had no clue that Vita is your sister. Yes, she is. All of the women who have tried to break the barrier in this male-dominated field. And I can assure you that it is not by any stretch of an imagination an easy field to get into. Nothing that's male-dominated is easy, right? When you have to sit in a cockpit with men who will degrade you and have, back in the day, and I hoped that this had stopped, sexually inappropriate conversations, harassment, all this stuff. I was saddened to hear that a lot of our female pilots and even male pilots are saying a lot of this behavior is still continuing even within the ranks of our national airline. It's 2024, Cayman Airways. I love my national airline. I love Cayman Airways. Anytime I can go to bat for Cayman Airways, I will do so. At the same time, I will not sit back and hear these types of stories and not ask the questions of what is actually going on at Cayman Airways. Because I believe something has to be going on. And I've said this before. We have had a mass exodus of Caymanians leave that organization, of Caymanian pilots to go work overseas. If everything was kosher and it was the big family that it should be for such a small airline and people were being taken care of, there would be no people leaving to go work for friggin' Dubai, what's it called? United Arab Emirates, Emirates Air, and all this kind of stuff. Although I think the experience is good for them. I think it's great to live abroad, even in the Middle East. They give them an amazing package. They do make good money. They get good benefits. I understand they assist with housing and school fees and all sorts of stuff. The fact that they can recruit our Caymanian pilots says a lot about how well trained, right? And the accolades and how proud we should be of our pilots. But at the same time, when I hear stuff like, they're being overworked, there's manipulation, there's gaslighting, there's verbal abuse, there's psychological abuse, I have to pump the brakes and say, whoa, 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 what is going on here? Like I said, I don't know Amber. This isn't in defense of Amber. These are the bigger issues that we need to be looking at. The irony of it is Renee put up the story. And after Renee put up the story, then I realized that this young lady, Amber, is the same young lady that we had reported on some years ago that had some issues, right? She has worked hard to get past those issues. And what I found out, which was kind of interesting lately, is that apparently while she was suspended, Cayman Airways went back and they actually deducted or took away or demoted or whatever the equivalent of a year's salary from this young lady. Now, I don't know how many of y'all work in jobs, but anybody who takes an entire year's salary from you, that's got to hurt financially and really set you back in many other ways, right? So she's had her issues. She has tried dealing with it. Let me tell you some of what I understand to have happened. There were issues that were being raised from last year about how the pilots are being treated. We've talked about from before. Go back and look at some shows that we've talked about with Cayman Airways, where pilots have said they are leaving because of the toxic work environment. Now, if there's one set of people that you would want to be happy, trust and believe me when I tell you, not, let me rephrase that. Not happy, but that you should in the workplace ensure that they have the proper support that they need, emotional support and so on. It would definitely be pilots. Literally every single day, they have hundreds of people's lives in their hands. Make sure that they are not just physically well, but that part of that is the emotional well-being of a person as well. It is so ironic because just yesterday I was sitting down with another young lady who was sharing how she was working in a toxic work environment. So much so that she started to take her anti-anxiety medication, had to go get a refill. And she's like, Sandy, I used to take half a dose, and working in this toxic company, now I was taking a full dose of the medication. Employers, y'all have got to realize the way in which you treat your staff says way more about you than your bottom line. And I know that government as a whole gets a lot of criticism for not having the resources in place to help their staff, and staff complain of being bullying on a daily basis. Good morning, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, hello. Can I help you? I can hear you. Hi. Hello.
I hear you on the topic of Cayman Airways, and I actually saw Amber's post yesterday, and my heart is felt in a different kind of way for Amber.
Mm-hmm.
But so hurt for her as well. Not just her, but other Cayman Airways employees. I myself, I'm a former Cayman Airways employee. Many years ago, not terribly long, but precisely what Amber has spoken about were things that have been discussed or the toxicity of Cayman Airways. And I am so disgusted and so sad to say that all of this behavior seemed to come about. I myself didn't work under Mr. Mike Adams' tenure, but I was definitely a patron when he was there as the CEO. And to this day, there are employees who have been there, who this has been their only job. And the majority of them have said the best that airline ran in terms of culture, in terms of working environment was when Mr. McAdam was there. And I'm not saying that to knock the current CEO or management, but even while I was there was much less to be desired. Amber is 150% right in respect to the way that they treat female employees. 100% right. I saw a post as well from another former female employee who was a flight attendant who spoke about the absolute abhorrent treatment of female workers in that industry. I don't want to kind of ring fence flight attendants or stewardess as they were called, but that was typically a female-dominated area of employment, and I would think largely around the world at large, it's changing now, but it's always ever been. I mean, I remember myself as a child, the only job that I ever pretended to be was a flight attendant, and I would dress up and prance up and down the halls of my house in my mom's high heel shoes. And to think that these people, I can truly say I've never had a bad experience with any of the Cayman Airways flight attendants. Always pleasant, always, despite what I knew was happening to a lot of them, they always put on their best, put their best foot forward. And yes, I agree with you. The people who we want to be level-headed and cool are the pilots, but surely don't want a pissed off, messed up, angry flight attendant either. They could be just as bad. And to think that Cayman Airways is our national flag carrier, and there are so many people who hold Cayman Airways so close to them and in such high regard, it is beyond disheartening that this is coming out. I think that the ministry, at this point, it is so volatile, it is so toxic, it has been for not a number of years, for decades. It's been this way for decades. I myself have a family member who was kind of booted out after almost 20 years of service in there, treated like an absolute dog. I said to her, her mother and I mean, she's older than me, but she was just one of those loyal employees. We used to refer to Cayman Airways for her as home and refer to home as work. And we would say, "You going home now? What time are you coming to work?" Dedicated. I watched this dog get spat in the face at by a customer at Cayman Airways. She just said, delivered exemplary customer service. I mean, everywhere in this country, people knew her name. She left Cayman Airways maybe 3 or 4 years now, and there's still people who call her and say, "Can you book this reservation for me? Can you help me with this?" I mean, for me, Cayman Airways is just, it can be such a success,
yes,
but it's such a sad failure. And the failure is because of the management. The failure is because people refuse to do the right thing. People refuse to do the right thing on so many levels. Cayman Airways is not the plane. Cayman Airways are not the fares. Cayman Airways are the people. Cayman Airways are the smiling people. Cayman Airways are the people like Miss Rose, I believe Gatsby. People like those. People like Yvonne, Warwick, who are former flight attendants, Shirley Rolston. those are the people that I remember, and I'm not that old flying with them, you know, to see how even those people were treated and kicked out of the airline. And yes, I'm going to say treated poorly and kicked out, because when you create an untenable working environment, what must that employee do?
Yes,
It goes
it's constructive dismissal.
It's constructive dismissal.
That's
and it's
right.
so unfortunate, so unfortunate that legislation to this date has yet to catch up with constructive dismissal. And so often, and I am beyond disgusted by Cayman Airways in the treatment of its employees. And it's high time that somebody say something. No, I am not going to call for a boycott of the airline. I am calling for the minister. He is responsible. This is his remit. I am calling for the minister to look into it, to see what is going on, to see about the poor treatment of the employees, to see about the treatment of employees who were effectively constructively dismissed. Those people were just kicked out like they were dogs on the side of the street after having taken the piss, the literal piss, for that airline. Like I said, in my instance with my relative, I mean, she worked from 4 in the morning till 4 in the morning. She worked and then came home and then did some. So am I upset? Damn right I am. Am I pissed off? Damn right I am. To know that women are making a rise in aviation, I feel safe to say that probably in the region, Cayman Airways may employ the most, and I could be wrong and I stand corrected, but we've made strides in making sure that women make a mark in aviation. But to the extent that this is how it's being done, and that they may not even feel empowered to get up and say something, I must commend Amber and more need to come forward. And this idea that we are going to scare people into being quiet, or the idea that, well, I can't say anything because I need my job. Who doesn't need their job?
Exactly.
Who doesn't?
Thank you, caller. I think it might be time for us to start thinking about unionizing this country as well, because it seems like employers sort of single-handedly on their own don't believe that they have the power. But collectively, you guys have a lot of power, right? We've seen it happen, even with Cayman Airways. We've seen the pilots stand together to get pay increases and so on. Because listen, that national airline is nothing without the pilots, right? You can't pull in a stewardess to fly that plane if those pilots said we're not going nowhere and we're going to take a stand. What I want to say, though, is the toxicity in the organization and the allegations of this are not something new. It is not something, unfortunately, that is unique to Amber, right? I just mentioned, Vida Rocket having to endure it as the first female pilot here in the Cayman Islands, where they would make not sexually overt comments, sexually express comments to her, right? Saying all sorts of things in the cockpit and in that airline. And if a person doesn't have, and nobody should have to put up with this kind of foolishness, let me be very, very clear. But if you don't have a particular personality, you cannot work in toxic environments. That seeps into your very pores and it makes you physically sick. I was just telling y'all about a young lady having to up her anxiety medication with another organization. There's a lot of people out there who are having to self-medicate sometimes, right? They're prescribing stuff for themselves. They're taking Xanax. They're doing this. They're doing that because they can't handle the stress of these environments. Listen to me, organizations. Y'all need to care about your employees more than you do, right? They need to have personal days that they can just take a day. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know if you have a roster of pilots, it's not easy for them to do it. But this is a young lady, by all accounts, that have struggled with mental health because of the people that she's having to work with in that toxic environment. And it's not helpful when they take their grievances to a meeting of the Pilots Association and so on. And then The people who were there in key positions, even within that organization, said, well, if you can't handle it, then y'all can go ahead and drop dead. You see, that's the kind of thing in other organizations around the world that would get you seriously reprimanded. I'm shocked and flabbergasted that in the Cayman Islands, a senior pilot could be in a meeting with junior pilots, probably half of his age or less, who could probably be his children, and make comments like telling the staff to go and drop dead if they can't handle the situation. And you know what is sad? Within a week of him saying that, one of their staff members dropped dead. He wasn't at that meeting, so I'm not trying to blame that. But you know how that plays on the psyche of some people? When you verbalize that type of toxicity and negativity into the universe on your pilots, and then not even a week later, you actually have a Cayman Airways pilot who literally drops dead? There'll be some people who are like, what the hell? Intimidating behavior. If a pilot says, this person is harassing me, they're being toxic, there have been allegations of sexual harassment still with the female pilot and some of these senior pilots. And we know from the stories that are on the Mall Road from a long time, some of those pilots are some of the most disgusting people in the world. Thank God they don't decide to run for political office, because I'd have to pull out their flight logbook and tell you all the foolishness that they've been up to. They go screwing in every single jurisdiction. Oh, we're landing in Havana. Yay, we're going to be having a party. Bring out the bag of condoms. That's how they operate. Some of the wives of pilots, y'all should really be paying attention. They're screwing the stewardess. They're screwing other pilots if they can. They're screwing everybody in every single stop. They don't have no scruples about them either. And so when they put pressure on the few young female pilots that they have, sexual harassment pressure, that is an untenable situation. And the management at Cayman Airways should make no excuses for this type of behavior. Zero. It should not be permitted. Y'all need to have a very firm policy. It's ironic, in Amber's post, that she made reference to them celebrating International Women's Day. And said, how much are you really essentially celebrating your women in this organization? It's good on the exterior to talk about, oh, look at the female staff that we have. But what is really being done to support all of your staff, but in particular on a day like International Women's Day, the female staff that make a humongous contribution to your organization? The culture of organization starts at the top and trickles its way down. You cannot have just the HR person talking about inclusion, talking about, supportive mental health initiatives. It looks good on paper to say that you are celebrating women in your organization and you're allowing these women to soar. But when those women who support your organizations by the work that they do come forward and say there's nothing farther from the truth, because you're not addressing the instances of bullying. And in fact, when someone makes a complaint against another officer, instead of a proper investigation being carried out, and in the interim, not allowing those two officers to be scheduled on the same roster, what do? You make a complaint against someone, they can put you on the next flight with that person sitting right next to them in the friggin' cockpit. Tell me, how does that make any sense? How does that encourage the safety and well-being of the women and men in this organization? It just doesn't make any sense. We have got to do better. This is our national airline hemorrhaging $25 million in the deficit. By God, if we're going to keep an organization who they claim isn't making any money and that's in the deficit with some very questionable routes at times, at the very minimum, what I want to ensure is that organization is hiring 99% Caymanians first and foremost, and you are offering them a non-toxic work environment. Is that really too much to ask? I don't think so. So like I said, I'm not here to tell you yay or nay with Amber, but I'm willing to bet it took a lot out of her to sit down and write this post saying that I'm hereby demanding the full and immediate payment of my salary accrued from January to the present. From what I understand, this girl has had to step away from her duties at Cayman Airways because of the mental health stress that she was under. She went to physicians and got doctors, notes and time off. And in fact, I heard that she actually at one point went overseas to obtain it from the FAA? And then here came out, they talk about, they don't want to accept that. They'll only accept the one from somebody here in Cayman, really? And when the young lady shares her mental health issues and her complaints, y'all are all over the place blabbergabbing it to other staff members. There's no confidentiality in the organization. Something is reported to HR, and the next thing you know, it's out on the streets. Shouting and cursing and discussing people's business and their mental health issues to other people in the organization. Things have been documented and sent to the HR department in relation to this young lady. When I speak to people who know her, cousins and other people, they say, Sandy, she has worked hard. This is what she always wanted to do. This is her love, flying. And to be passionate about something and have other people take that away from you is got to be probably one of the most painful things in the world. And on top of that, y'all have not paid her? Wow. So I noticed that she has the Minister of Tourism tagged. I don't know where the minister is, but I have to ask the question, in fact, where are you, Minister? Where's your headspace? Where are these issues going to be addressed? Don't get me started in the port, because I don't finish with a hot mess of a situation that's going on over there either. And these are all things that fall under the Minister of Tourism and Ports. Why is it that they don't have a single meeting? My apologies. That they don't have a single board meeting that has been listed since January of 2024. We're now in April, going into May. That board remains the slackest board that I have seen. And there's no accountability, none whatsoever. The minister refuses to step up and do what he should have done 2 years ago with that board. So at some point, we have to forget the boards, because they seem hell-bent on doing whatever the hell they want. We're going to have to hold the minister responsible. Yeah? He appoints the board, does he not? Yes, he does. He appoints Cayman Airways board, CIAA. And you have got to say to both the organizations and the boards, there's some minimum standards on how you need to be treating your staff. This ain't it. The irony of it is, a couple of weeks ago, another young lady came forward who works Cayman Airways. Miss Sandy, the flight attendants are being harassed by each other. There's certain ones that, because they're lucky enough to be Spanish with straight hair, don't like the little Georgetowners that got a nappy hair and they can only do so much with it. And they must wear their hair. You know, I know for a fact, because Cayman Airways has been sued over this before. And to my recollection, they've actually lost the lawsuit, but I can dig that up to make sure I'm recollecting the facts. They have been sued previously for how they bully and treat staff right down. I'm talking about the stewardess now, right down to their weight. Oh, you can't be 5 pounds extra. They make those girls get on a friggin' scale. You're getting fat. You better stop eating brownies. You better stop doing this, stop doing that. You need to start exercising. Giving them uniforms that are 2 sizes too small so that they got to squeeze their little bonkers into it. This is the reality of the stresses that people have had to work under within that organization. People complaining that the current chief stewardess right? Telling them about, how they got nappy black people hair and they better process it or they better straighten it or do this and do that. And if you refuse to straighten it and you want to have natural hair, that not gonna work for them. You can't be doing this kind of stuff. It sounds to me like y'all need a good lawsuit up your backside. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Not bad, darling. How are you?
I'm okay, my dear. So I can't really speak to Cayman Airways, but just in general, for a general comment, I feel, and I've always felt, and I'm sure many people have always said the same thing. Any expat to our island learns how to treat residents, Caymanians, how to treat Caymanians based on how they see Caymanians treating each other. Okay? It is like, it's like a child who is just, if a child's never seen racism or anything like that, but they're in a classroom where they, they're following along and this is the pattern they see. And it is the same, it is the same for adults. I've been fortunate to work in a few different countries and Cayman, which is home, it has always been the most difficult to work in because when I worked overseas, I received more support from people who are not part of my cultural makeup than people who are part of my cultural makeup back home. And I do not know what that comes from. I do not know if it's low self-esteem. I do not know if it's jealousy. I do not know if it's ignorance. I do not know.
I'm happy to tell you it's all of those things, honey child.
All of the above.
Yep.
Bad-mindedness and all of those things, but it's very divisive.
Yes.
And companies cannot progress with that level of that type of attitude, and it is pretty systemic because even across education, where I worked also, when expats leave a post, I don't know if it's all government entities, but I know definitely for education, there's something called an exit interview.
Yes.
When I left teaching with government, they didn't hold any such thing for the Caymanian teacher. Okay? And another thing I was thinking of when you spoke earlier is I would really love to know statistically how many Caymanians have left government positions and for what reason? Because as a former educator, teachers are not quitters. We don't go into education thinking we're going to become millionaires. We don't go into education for any other reason. At least that's speak for myself. Than to provide service to children of wherever you're working. And but when you have people who leave a field that was their dream field because you're getting such negative, like just pure negativity coming from your own colleagues, from your own coworkers and such. And, it becomes, like I said before, it's very, very divisive. It sends a very bad message also to our youth.
Absolutely.
And the current young workforce who, some people in the current young workers that can have a job, they don't stay in jobs sometimes for more than a year, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 7 months, because they're met with such a aggressive or negative work environment, and they're not used to that. And unlike us older people who will stick it out and tough it out because we believe in like loyalty to the company and ray and all of that, which of course you should have loyalty to your company, but you can't be in an environment that's toxic either. So, and sometimes, a lot of companies are trying, you have wellness programs, you have all those different types of things. But if you don't actually get to the root of the problem, then, which is for so many things here in Cayman, like we in general put like rose-colored glasses on, or we paint over the mold, or we do all sorts of things, and we don't address the root. And this is why it's well-rooted now from days of colonialization to be critical, to cause stress amongst the lower people, while the higher people just do whatever they want. And while we stay below and we bicker about minute things, you know, like who got good hair and who has good skin and who's like skinned it and who got the straight nose. All of those things which don't measure out to nothing in the long run, but it certainly keeps us very active in a negative way to keep people down.
Yeah.
So people don't like change, but we have to, and I guess Sandy, we could probably have this conversation 5 years from now too.
It's
but
sad.
Without change, there can literally be no change. Like, you cannot just constantly bring things to the surface and have conversation, and you're almost like in this Groundhog Day scenario where it's like the same thing over and over. Like, we're going to have elections coming up, and I'm glad that you're going to be bringing the cold hard truth to about the candidates, because but are people ready for the cold hard truth? Will the cold hard truth stand a chance against handouts and things like that? Because then again, now we have people playing on the financial situation, on the socioeconomic status of voters as well, which is not fair.
Yes.
So there is a lot to unpack. There's a lot to repack, and there are some things that just need to be thrown out.
Yeah.
Completely.
Thank you, caller.
But we cannot continue to just gloss over things. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so much. 936-2626, folks, is the telephone number. And yes, I mean, it's unfortunate, we have got to be prepared to address these issues, because the only way, and that caller made so many valid points, that we as Caymanians, I'm sad to tell you, tend to be our own worst enemy. We treat our people in the workplace the worst. And she says she doesn't know why, and she listed a number of things. I think it's all of those things. It is sometimes that we are jealous of one another when we shouldn't be. Y'all think, oh, that little girl, she not nobody. She didn't come from no particular family or whatever. Who she thinks she is? Oh my gosh, she got a little car now. She got a little house. And y'all just begrudge each other too much. Caymanians, you should be happy for one another. As long as the person have worked hard. They're not stealing from nobody. They're not out there doing drugs. Right? They're the only people that I call out, when it comes to how they've achieved stuff in life. If they have worked hard, made smart decisions to get where they are, I am happy for them. We need to do this more often. Stop hating on each other. Every other nationality can come to Cayman and work together and uplift each other. But they come here and they find us as Caymanian people fighting down each other more than anybody else. See, Stephanie says it's all of the above. This is a national disgrace on us as a people. It probably goes back to our slave days when y'all would be trying to curry favor with the slave master. And the only way that you could do that would be to out each other. Crab in the bucket mentality. You became the Django of the group, the house nigga, right? You wanted to go inside and get a little, back in those days, it wasn't even no AC. But in order to you to get whatever little extra little crumpets and whatever, you would be telling on each other. And so we have grown up where that is what we do as a people. Instead of us uplifting each other, celebrating each other, encouraging each other, we tear each other down. Yeah. In the workplace, there's no place for this type of toxicity. Scott says the problems that Cayman Airways are not unique. It's systemic issues that plague the civil service and CIG entities. I would really love to have a conversation, because the deputy governor is always talking about this world-class civil service of his. And so I would ask the question, do you really have a world-class civil service when you have people talking about their mental health? They're coming to breaking points, toxicity. Who goes to a meeting and tell all y'all can drop dead? Who Who spews that type of negativity in an official meeting? It means, you know what it means? That that person has come to the conclusion that in their professional capacity on the job, they can go into these environments and say and do anything they want, and there'd be no repercussions for their actions, because there would be no way in hell that they could say something like that if they knew that they would be called into HR or called in by the CEO, and they would say, listen, brother, you ain't get written up for this. You can't say those type of things in a meeting. They wouldn't do it. So the fact that they're so comfortable doing it is what makes me very, very concerned. Natasha, good morning. Says caller's not lying about immigrants learn to treat Caymanians like crap from how they see exchanges between Caymanians. We gotta do better than this. Good morning, Cab. Says, love how everyone is angry in the comments, but later on in the week, we'll be sitting up in the business class, posting on social media how I love my airline. Well, let me be very, very clear. Let me be very, very clear, Cab. You can do both, and that's not a problem. So yes, the next time I travel, y'all gonna see me in business class because I got my little benefit, which I paid for to be able to upgrade my seats. I love my national airline, and if I want to sit in business class, then whatever. I don't tend to take pictures though, and I'm not telling nobody that I'm there having a great time. But that's on me if I want to sit in business class and enjoy my national airline. That doesn't mean I can't also call them out for when they're getting it wrong, when there are allegations of abuses. Yeah? So let's be very, very clear about accountability here and how accountability works. We need to get rid of all this favoritism and prejudiceness that is happening in the workplace. Damien says racial profiling and favoritism. Enough is enough. Let me read some comments here. Gareth, it sounds like he used to work there. I've seen your comments coming in. He said a number of things. He says the national flag embarrassment, really. Jeria says they don't care, Auntie Sandy, as long as their work is getting done. Gareth goes on to say, yes, more toxic than slime. Wow. So are y'all having exit interviews over at Cayman Airways when staff leave so that you know why they're leaving? I mean, I understand that before Amber left, she actually requested a meeting, and the management of Cayman Airways did not even bother to acknowledge her request for a meeting or anything else that was requested. And this is a reason now why she has taken to social media. That's really sad. Come on now, y'all need to do better than this. Unbelievable. Anthony says Cayman Airways is full of Spaniards now with that last flight attendant class. What a shame. Every housewife and every food server is now a flight attendant. They have such a bad attitude and talking amongst themselves, don't pay much attention. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Rough Seas says all of Cayman politicians are threatened by Sandy because Sandy has political sway. It's just a show that talks about the cold hard truth. Yes, in a way, it's like a cult. I don't know if we like the word cult, and Sandy is the cult leader. She has the power to pick Cayman's political council. So any politician that runs for political office, Sandy has the power. Well, it's not me that has the power. He goes on to say to persuade the people to pick and choose which MPs get in. That's why they're threatened. Sandy can say that she has no power over people's choice to decide. No. This is what I honestly believe. I am only a conduit for you, the people. Y'all the ones with the real power. I express what y'all are thinking, but it seems to me that unfortunately a lot of you don't recognize your own power. So I'm here every single day trying to empower you. You need to take your own power. That's what I'm saying. Maybe y'all need to start considering whether or not a workers' union would be beneficial to people in the Cayman Islands. Garrett says that in a democracy, no, it should be questioned and challenged. He was responding to Alejandro. Good morning, Jason. Jason says the word unity in Caymanian can't go in the same sentence. It's sad, but it's true. I wish we could get back to the point like after Ivan, where we were one and looking out for each other was of top importance. Well, we know that didn't last for long, child. Ms. Pat says the mental and emotional well-being of employees is not being addressed. Johan says, how is any minister responsible for the day-to-day operations of any ministry, government-owned company, SAGC, or board? This is not how the system works. The minute any minister engages a chief officer, CEO, MD, any likely call, foul, and claim political interference, ministers do not run things. The chief officers, civil servants, and in some cases, the board are ultimately responsible along with management. Yes, Johan, that's how it works on paper. But in practical terms, is it not the minister who is appointing the board? And so the minister can also fire and remove boards for organizations that he is not happy with. And if the board is not giving directives directly to the management of these organizations, saying that you cannot continue to be prejudiced against your staff, you cannot continue to treat female staff like this, Black Georgetowners like this one like that you need to set the tone, and it starts from the top straight down. Are you meaning to tell me that the board has no control over the management of Cayman Airways? When it is the board who can actually fire and remove the management of the airline? And then the minister doesn't have control over his own board members? They do whatever they want in complete and absolute isolation from any directives that he's giving them? He's not there doing the day-to-day operations. That's not what I'm saying. He's not sitting there writing HR policy, for God's sake. But he could certainly call a meeting with the board and say, I have concerns. And does the CEO not sit on the board? Does the MD at the port, the director, not sit in on board meetings? He can call a meeting of the board and say, concerns have been raised about how you guys are handling your staff and the mental health and well-being of our pilots. Start counting how many pilots have left Cayman Airways. Mary says, what the hell am I hearing? I'm lost for words in relation to the drop dead comment, shaking my head. Gareth says, fortunately, I got many passions, and that's where I am today. So it sounds like he got out. Gareth says, Mary, you're just getting started. Cal is the worst. Wow. I mean, I'm not saying that they're the worst. Gareth has said that they're the worst. And like I said, I'm assuming based on his comments that he has actually worked in the organization. There should be no organization in the Cayman Islands that's owned by our government that is not setting the best possible example for others to follow, including inclusivity. There are people of different races and colors that make up the Caymanian family. You should not be putting people down because they refuse to straighten their hair, that perhaps they prefer for it to be curly. If they want to lose, if they want to keep their natural curls or whatever, as long as it is neat and tidy, because that is a requirement of when they wear the Cayman Airways uniform. You see how beautiful the stewardess are for Emirates? They have a uniform code, right? Yes, their hair has to be pulled back, and they wear their little hats and they wear their scarves, and they always, when they walk in unison in the airport, they look amazing. Such a breath of fresh air, but they always look so well put together and so professional. All stewardesses are supposed to take that kind of pride, as well as pilots, in their physical appearance. But you should not be making and passing remarks about people's physical looks. And if they don't want to wear makeup, look like a $2 whore, they shouldn't have to do that. There's a line that y'all be crossing that just doesn't make any sense. So one person says that, yes, they have them do exit paperwork, but it's not an exit interview. And apparently they don't read those either for the people who take the time to fill them out. We all wrote our concerns and HR did nothing. This is coming from other pilots who have left Cayman Airways and gone elsewhere. And there is no employee assistance program at Cayman Airways when it comes to mental health for any employee. Wow. I can't believe that. I find that very, very shocking that we live in 2024 and y'all do not have any employee assistance programs at Cayman Airways, any way to help people suffering from mental health issues or any kind of stresses. What are you saying? That's crazy. Hi, Sandra. As one who has lived abroad, travels regularly, and have family all over the world, I can tell you that our Caymanian backbiting is not unique to us. It's a global phenomenon. Well, when we humans travel, we seek those that we relate to. And if we don't find our countrymen, we gravitate towards those with similar culture. There's always an exception here and there. I've seen where people return home and notice that those who returned with them just stopped socializing like they did in the foreign country. I've seen Jamaicans stick up for each other here, but are cutthroat back home. Same for Canadians, UK, USA, etc. Point taken, caller or listener to the program. Seems like it's just the way of human beings, but we can do better. This person says that they're still waiting on a response to their queries from 2008 from Cayman Airways. Won't happen. Another person makes the observation that they've had 11 Caymanian pilots leave in the past 10 years. That's a lot. For such a small airline, I got to tell you, that's a lot. This person says the credit union is the next one. But Sandy, not to defend what we're doing to each other is right, but other nationalities do it as well to their own. Obviously, the ministers need to be removed because he's not using his power where needed. Hurry up, come 2025. This person commented and said world class, and then they did the little emoji that looks like caca. Workplace bullying is a persistent pattern of mistreatment from others in the workplace that causes either physical or emotional harm. It can include such tactics as verbal, nonverbal, psychological, and physical abuse, as well as humiliation. Management, and they put management caps, is the problem with a toxic work environment, period. And they sent a little thing here from Bridget Hyacinth, who's the author of Leading the Workforce of the Future, which gives us 7 signs of a toxic work environment. Can you, managers in these organizations, please get yourselves trained up? Maybe we are holding you accountable and requesting you to do something that you're simply not capable of doing. Is that possible? But what I'm saying is, when you're in management, if you're not capable of doing it, you have to recognize your own shortcomings and then do something about it, because otherwise your entire organization suffers. And that's why you're hiring HR professionals who should be bringing those initiatives to the table. I'm just really curious about exactly how this works. This person says, good morning. I'm so sorry for Amber. I don't know her, but my concern is that her sexuality may have become a part of this issue with the job. This is completely unacceptable. She is what she is, nobody's business. Well, I don't know anything about her sexuality, and I've never even asked the question, so I don't know exactly what that is. But any form of prejudices should not be tolerated, whether it's based on sexuality or whatever, right? So I don't care. She's cut her hair. Does that mean that they're not gonna like people with short hair? This person says, good morning. I don't mean to be rude or undermine, but the stewardess can also hold a flight. If they don't show up, the plane will not move. I think we behave as if though pilots are the only important part of flying. It's a whole team. They are treated poorly, and this is coming from a former CCM. I don't know what CCM stands for, but I'm guessing customer care manager, maybe. I don't know. But point taken. Yes, I mean we're certainly not implying that only the pilots run the airline, because they need everybody from ticket agents straight down to be able to do their job. This person says, please also mention that Cayman Airways staff are sick from the mold in the buildings too. Which buildings are Cayman Airways in again? They are, oh yeah, that one across from, there's mold in that building? What a hot mess. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. You're on a good topic again this morning, but I would say that what I would suggest to do is to talk to Miss Amber. I found her a very polite, friendly individual, and that's the way a pilot should be. Now, a pilot just don't study to get in the position that they're in at the time being. They have what you call simulator every 6 months, and then when they get in a higher position, it's every year. And it's no simulator here, so they have to go off the island. One time when they had the 727, they had to go as far as Seattle. But what has happened to Cayman Airways, not happened just recently or anything like that. It has happened over the years. And make I tell you, it's a little clique of pilots there. And there is some pilots that retired and they took them back to work in the office. And some of them do have no behavior. And yes, they're supposed, according to the size and according to the seats of a jet in particular, they have to have a certain amount of pilots. Okay? What happened to your sister, Vita, was wrong. It was very wrong. At the time being that she was flying on the jet, Vita being so tiny, maybe it's a possibility that she had to use a cushion, because some of those jets don't have seats that can slip right up to right, they're nearly going through the windshield. But it was very wrong for them to do some. She got like exhausted of the way that she was being treated, but she didn't go and complain. She left. But something that they study for, have to study long hours, and then you're not finished every year. And
I was going to say, caller, just like any profession, any professional, you dedicate yourself to acquiring the qualifications that you need to do it. So when people start to mess with your livelihood and your passion and what you love, I mean, I'm sad to hear that she decided to just walk away. I think she's not a confrontational person. So maybe that was, the best decision that she figured at the time that she could make for her own sanity, which is really, really unfortunate. But, back in those days, I heard that they used to be so inappropriate, wouldn't even be the word, the things that they'd be saying to her, even from just a sexual harassment perspective. But back then, nobody was talking about sexual harassment. It was just acceptable that you had to put up with that sort of stuff.
But my suggestion, not only talk to Miss Amber, she is a trying individual that want to do something else except continue to work in an office or something like that with her life. I like her because she is friendly, and I flew with her twice, I think, or 3 times. And when she would look back into the cabin, big smile on her face, big smile on her face. Talk to her and talk to a senior retired pilot. It's a few of them. Many have gone to, like you said before, places like Dubai, but look at the package that those people give them. And when they retire, they give them a bigger package. When you retire from our national airline, if you didn't save, tough luck for you. Tough luck for you. Another thing, they need to have more meetings. CAPA was formed by a very senior pilot that they used to call him, look at that little German. He's not German at all, but that was the only foreign one. But this very senior pilots, including our national hero's son, Chris McLaughlin, he went overseas long years ago, left Cayman Airways to go and fly. Kennedy Panton went to Boeing. I mean, Boeing do have a good name now, but at the time being, he went to Boeing many years ago. And many more, because some of them that have left recently could not stand the way that people, that some of the staff and some other pilots were going on, just could not stand it. So rather than they losing their profession, they choose to leave the island. So talk to a senior pilot and talk to Amber. She's a nice girl, and we should be proud of her standing up for her rights.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Garrett says the meeting is more toxic than the job. For the sake of her mental health, she shouldn't do the meeting. My Lord. Wow. Barbara says, you're so very right. This is disgusting. Our own people are always doing this to each other. They forget, point one finger, and you have 4 pointing back at you. Scott says DES does not do exit interviews for anyone, even the employees who claim that, or who request one when handing in their resignations. They know the problems, but they are perpetrated by Caymanians, so they choose to ignore them. No accountability, no consequences, no change. Stephanie says, stay strong, Sandra, and our precious Caymanians. We will prevail with the truth. Miss Elaine says, human nature cannot be tamed. Bad mind is always active. What a hot mess. Janetta says, I can relate 100%. Thanks for talking for us, Auntie Sandy. 100. Wow. Jamila says, management and don't know anything about the company or organization. Lord Jesus. Gabby says, I know someone that worked there. They used to say Cal is like the stepchild government locks away in the attic. They're needed to put on a show and smile. They don't even have government insurance, but it is a government entity. Dion says most of the managers are capable. They give them joy to treat people bad, but any day a boss try me, you'll be the one reporting me, period. Yes, sir. What a hot mess. Magnum Opus says Cayman Airways is one of the last entities that are majority Caymanian, and for that, I'm proud of them and support them. Now I have noticed a gradual move to Jamaicanizing Cal and the airport. I don't really see too many Jamaicans working Cayman Airways. I'm not sure which flight you be on or who you see there, but that's not your problem. I don't know who taking over. Sorry to say. What a hot mess. Cal, total slackness, says Paul, need to do better. Unbelievable what I'm hearing. Miss Morna said, Sandy, my son used to work there for years, but he's one of those, he's out of there now and didn't let the door hit him on his way out. Sad. There's a lot more things that is hidden behind the door, but it soon come out to light. Wow. My God. No, sir. Oh, CCM stands for cabin crew member. Thank you, James and Jason and everybody else who clarified that. Priscilla. Marcia says, congrats to the Queen of the Cold Hard Truth. You deserve it. I must say I'm learning a lot from you. Keep up the good work. Siobhan says, TF, her sexuality has to do with it. You all don't treat someone because of who they are, what they are. We're all human beings. Ingrid says, what does sexuality have to do with her professionalism? I think the point the person was trying to make is maybe she's, like I said, I don't know anything about that, but she might be discriminated against for other reasons that they're not going to say, which is problematic if that is happening. Strong Will says, Sandys, there's hardly any Jamaicans in Cayman Airways, plenty Spaniards. Yeah, I can't even think of a single Jamaican that I've really seen there. I think we have one pilot in rotation that might be a Jamaican. But yeah, that's not your worry, folks. Keep it straight. Other person says Amber tried to have a meeting for at least 2 months before she walked away. They ignored her each time and still continue to do so. Here is the long list of our Caymanians who are no longer with Cayman Airways. Lord Jesus, take the wheel. We have Joelle Larson, corporate, gone to 2019. Hakeem Bush, Breeze Airways, gone 2015. William McTaggart, Fly Dubai, gone 2022. Trenton Beckles, Spirit, gone 2015. Mike, McKinley, Andrews, FedEx, gone 2012. Devon McLaughlin, Qatar, gone 2012. Olson Anderson, corporate, gone 2021. William Bodden, Fly Dubai, gone. He left a couple years ago. I can't remember what year that was. Jamal Eswick, Emirates, gone 2018. Newton Solomon, Western Global Cargo, gone 2011. Mike Hides, corporate, gone 2013. That's a whole airline right there, pilots that have left Cayman Airways. And this is no bueno. And that's all that they could remember. There's probably more. This person says, this is so sad, whatever happened to Amber, but sorry to say, more will be gone. My cousin left, and now a pilot with Emirates. Please add those people to the list. We have Shanine Powery, Hakeem Bush, and William Bodden. I think most of those, Shanine might not have been on the list, but I think the other two were. And we have people running around here who probably think they're trees, and we're worried because she actually knows her sexual preference, ? I don't even know what's going on. And then this person says one of the Thompson boys also left as well, Javier Thompson. That's a significant list. Cayman Airways, please. We're about to end the program. I don't have any intentions of them. Garrett says, I'm proud of all of them. Leave Cal alone. Leave Cal and go. He says that you're not going to be happy there. This is so sad. Come on, Cayman Airways. Come on. I mean, listen, we can fix this. Yeah? I believe that these things can be fixed, but it has to start with you all being honest. Sometimes that's a tall order, I know. But you have to start from a place of authenticity, and we can move from there. Listen, I'm willing to help in any way that I can. I'm sure Amber didn't want to have to do this, right? Why are y'all allowing this young lady to walk away? I'm sure she loves her national airline. She loves flying, right? Meet her and try to work this out. That's what we, the Caymanian people, would want. Stop hemorrhaging Caymanian pilots. Stop discriminating amongst the stewardess. I don't want to hear, I don't want a single Caymanian that works Cayman Airways to have to call me again with these complaints. Y'all know of a mold issue in your buildings. Can you please fix it and sort it out? Staff are having to take unnecessary sick days because of mold. Please do better. Right? Take an aggressive approach to your HR. It's not just turn a leaf and do whatever and don't care about your workers. Be the type of organization that people can look up to and say, look, Cayman Airways, our national airline, treats their staff well. They're an airline that people want to stay and grow with professionally. My goodness. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, Sandy, I know you're about to end the show, but I gotta let you know something that I gonna remind people that sometimes the way how you look at people, it affects the way how you want to work again with them, because with this situation, to me, is almost like how I felt when I was getting fired off of work as well. It's not even an insult, it's an embarrassment, because you don't even want to work around those people anymore. You would prefer to hear that they all gone. They're all gone, because you've done seen the toxicity inside of it, that it's never going to change regardless. You imagine you having someone just looking at you and they're just assuming something.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, it sticks on like chewing gum in your hair. Like, you can't get that out of your mind. Like, you just imagine that they say, oh, I'm sorry about that. That was totally uncalled for. Hell on that, yo. Like, with you, yeah, hell on that. That's how it feels, So even no matter how much you want to talk about it, that's never going to change as long as you see those same demons throughout your day. You can go in and you visit for your privileges. You go and use your airline proudly and whatnot. That don't discriminate the workplace, but the people inside there is like a haunting memory of what exactly what is wrong, and nobody want to do anything about it. They're just scared that big man is like a boogeyman, and so boy, don't look underneath that kind of thing still haunts them.
All right, thank you very much. Estella says the government is treating their workers bad, so all the other workplaces are doing the same. Yeah, these government departments and statutory bodies and agencies and whatever, they should be leading by example. And I mean a positive example. Oh shoot! Yes, we have to do the giveaway. Thank you, honey chow. I totally forgot about that. Lord, y'all gotta remind me about these things beforehand. All right. So we want everybody to have an opportunity to participate in the giveaway. So of course, let me just tell you guys now. You know that the Capella event. This is an annual music festival. It is coming up here on next weekend. We're going to be giving away tickets pretty much every day, leading right up to the actual event itself. So let me pick a nice little question here now. Hold on. Somebody says, can I please call you? Are you trying to call on air or what? Hold on a second. I'm not sure if you're trying to call on air. Hold on. So, yeah, I don't think they're trying to call me on air. All right. Okay. So the Capella Festival coming up here, music festival. It is always a really nice little event. And of course, 2024 will be no exception to that. They've got a good lineup of individuals that are going to be performing. So today's question, and you got to call in, phone line. What's the phone number again? 936-2626, okay? So the question is, let me see now. Let me see what we got here. Who, and this one is so easy. This is going to be an easy one. We'll make them hard as we go along. But who is the lead artist that is actually going to be performing at this year. It's April 27th at the Festival Green at Camana Bay, who is the lead artist that will be performing at the Capella Music Festival 2024. Look at that. Y'all hot on my trail. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Is it Damien Jr. Gongmar?
Yes.
Yay.
You are a winner. All right. Do me a favor. I see you're calling from your company number there. Just WhatsApp me your name and email address, and they will email you. It's like an e-ticket. So they email it to you. Congratulations.
Perfect.
You are going to Capella.
All right.
Enjoy. All right, folks. So that's it. We found a winner already, but make sure that you guys tune in next week for more opportunities to win. Hello, caller.
Good morning. I was calling to try and answer, but you've got a winner already.
Oh, yes. We have a winner already. But next week, keep listening, folks, because we'll have more opportunities to win. We'll give away a ticket every single day leading right up to the event. So, hello, caller.
Hi.
Yes, we got a winner already. But keep listening, because we're going to give away tickets every single day.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much. And a few other people message me about tickets. About the radios as well. So just send your name and number, and I'll get those sorted out this afternoon for you. I would say probably after 2:30, you can go by. I've got a parent-teacher conference today that I have to go to. So my daughter's school does things a little bit differently. They actually have the students, for some of the teacher parent events, they actually have the students themselves present their work to you, to the parents. So you go and the students will tell you, they have like a little collection of all the things that they've been learning for that period of time. And they tell you about what they've been learning, what they, so it helps them with their presentation skills and their ability to speak and be confident in their work and to explain exactly what is what's going on, which I think is fantastic. It's a good way to develop our young people. All right, Siobhan says that's cool. Yeah. Okay. So y'all, please have a good weekend. Please be safe out on our roadways. Like I said, I thank you all very, very much for your continued support. You're going to see CMR doing more street interviews, which is something I've really, really wanted to do for a long time, but it's on my list. Every year I've got a list of accomplishments and things that I want to do. And I've got 2 really big ones this year, actually 3, actually 4. But if we can even get 2 out of the 4 done, we're going to really focus on that. And so going out in the streets and talking to you guys and getting sound bites and really hearing what your concerns are is something that I've long wanted to do. I think I've finally gotten like a mic setup that works pretty good for that. So I'm going to be doing definitely more of that as well. And so if you guys see me out and about with my little microphone, I stop and ask you a question, by all means, just say hello to me. Say hello, Auntie. All right, good folks. Please, again, be safe this weekend. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. And we will talk to you all on Monday, God's willing. All right. See you then. And don't forget, if you want to go to the Capella Festival, you better get your tickets early so you can get some good tickets. Go VIP too while you're at it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.